Media Group station, live from the Comcast Business Studios. 97.5, The Fanatic. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas. This is Kincade and Salciunas. 97.5, The Fanatic, and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Well, we have 3 weeks of data now in the books for the Philadelphia Eagles. So today we'll talk about what we've learned so far to start the season for the Birds. But it's not just going to be an Eagle day today on Kincade and Salciunas. The Fightin' Phils clinch and win the NL East last night. We will celebrate that. Maybe not as hard as they did, but we're going to have some fun with it all day today right here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas.
This is not about winning a game. This is about a bigger picture. No, this is about trying to get to a Super Bowl, getting back to an NFC Championship game.
I always look at September in the NFL as survive and advance. And this team, the stuff that I'm not worried about is the stuff that they got to work on.
Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good Tuesday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man John Kincade. Johnny, good morning.
And a good morning to you.
Are you clean? Because you were sprayed with copious amounts of Budweiser and champagne last night, I believe.
By the way, to the fine folks at Budweiser and to the champagne folks, man, I stunk going out of that building last night. And I had to stick every piece of wet clothing into the trunk of the car.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
But my wife got me one of those, those rubber linings for your car, like for the mats and everything. So the back trunk, you can put anything in there and it stays clean.
That was probably the greatest investment you could have made. Considering the Phillies are in the playoffs every single year now.
If I got pulled over last night on the way home,
yeah, you would.
I seriously, I had to have the windows wide open.
Remember that old drunk driving commercial where the beer was actually in the car?
Oh, yeah.
And they rolled the window down, it poured out. That's kind of what it probably would have smelled like.
It smelled like it. And what I can just tell you is, I hope you enjoyed it last night, Phillies fans, as much as they all did.
Yeah, I mean,
and it was a celebration of joy last night down at Citizens Bank and in the clubhouse after.
Yeah, and look, that's an impressive feat. I know that the Braves dealt with injuries all season long, but 162 games. By the way, the Phillies dealt with injuries all season long too, just not season-ending. But obviously, Bryce Harper missed time. Trey Turner missed time. Schwarber missed some time here and there. JT Realmuto missed time. Like, the Phillies dealt with a lot of injuries.
Two of their five starters.
Yeah.
Even though Taijuan Walker was maybe a blessing.
Yeah, probably was. Yeah.
But Ranger Suarez stuff. It was a interesting year, and you're sitting with 93 wins. And 93 wins, and you just look at it. It's more than their world championship team in 2008.
Yeah, which I'm wearing the 2008 NL East Champions T-shirt today, Johnny. In your honor, because I know how much you love these T-shirts.
Now, the fact that you fit in that.
Perks of being a fat kid. I'm telling you, it's the greatest perk of being a fat kid. You could still wear your shirts from 2008. This shirt is 16 years old. It's in pristine condition.
It is in pristine condition.
Wrinkly.
I think it's because of the fact that you don't wear division champion crap.
Yeah, especially
especially
in like 2015. I'm not wearing a 2008 division championship T-shirt.
And Connor, you are next level the day after, though. Thankfully, I should have asked you yesterday. My eyes hurt so much today.
Yeah.
And I'm not somebody who suffers from eye hurt. I wish I had Connor's goggles.
Yeah, Connor would have had that problem.
And it was weird because that's what John Clark asked me on our way into the clubhouse. Clark sees me. I have the slicker. Having done this a ton of times,
right.
I've got the slicker to cover everything up, the hood and everything. Even my bag is on my back, so I don't have to worry about carrying it around and it all getting wet. And John Clark goes, "Oh, no goggles?" And I was like,
yeah.
Should have. Hey, you could borrow them next time. I don't know. What are you guys talking about? Did somebody win something last night?
Yes.
Yeah, Connor brought props for our
I like that.
Let's go.
No, let's go. It is.
Come on. First time in 13 years. It's 2011 the last time they did this.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I saw people going last night, job's not done.
Yeah, I hate that.
Of course it isn't, but still.
To me, and I am somebody who is anti-spraying the champagne every series that you win. But over 162,
celebrate
you
that,
win
man.
a division.
It's a long season.
You should celebrate that, blow off steam. It is a pressure-packed, long grind.
And not just
enjoy every
162.
minute
I
of
mean, it starts in February with spring training. I know,
does.
like spring training. Look, they live lavish lifestyles. They're down in sunny Clearwater, and they play a couple innings here and there. But that's when the season starts. That's when they're out of their homes. That's when they're not doing their normal daily routines with their families and their friends. It starts in February.
I tell people, and I've insisted it, and I'll always insist it, that being a professional baseball player is the worst of the 4 professional sports. Absolutely the worst.
In terms of your family calendar.
As far as just your life. Your life is much more consumed on a daily basis. And then you get a rainout or 2, which, by the way, the Phillies have not had a rainout.
They really
this year.
haven't had many. Yeah.
They haven't had any this year. And you get a rainout or 2, and then that takes up maybe the 2 off days you get in a month.
Right.
I would honestly, it is a grind. They have every bit to celebrate it. Now, if you celebrate all the time, I do not enjoy you won a wild card series. Celebrate with champagne.
Oh, come on.
I think it's absurd.
Well, in 2022, it made
Phillies,
total sense.
Eagles win a wild card game over the Eagles.
Different
beat
sports, man.
No, it's ridiculous.
Different
it's
sports.
Stupid.
And
But that
2022 was
worth it
different. You know, they celebrated coming from behind
celebrate
beating the
everything.
Cardinals.
Yeah,
Go
that's
for it.
There
That's
you
their
go.
vibe. And they have done more in the playoffs than a lot of teams over the last couple of years. So, no, to the people that say the job's not done, you're right. The job's not done. But come on. Enjoy it a little bit today.
The division winning, you absolutely celebrate like that. Sixers beat the Nets first-round series.
No.
Come on in and spray champagne?
Not after 8
That's
years.
why
Not after
baseball-
8 years of it.
That's why baseball shouldn't do it either.
Oh,
it's
stop.
dumb.
Let them
Division
have-
winners.
let them have their
Division
fun.
winners.
Like you just said, it's the longest season. It's the longest grind. So
division
enjoy it.
winner, fine. National League or American League championship, fine. Winning a wild card series and doing that, nonsense. It's dumb.
Live a little.
Winning a divisional series, nonsense.
Live a little, Johnny.
Dumb.
All right, we're gonna have fun with the Phillies all day today. As
Put your
the Phillies
participation trophies up over there.
As the Phillies won the National League East last night, taking care of business against the Cubs. You mentioned it. The Cubs look like they didn't give a damn. They want their season to be over. So the Phillies.
I have
take
some
care of
inside
business.
intel that they sort of.
Yeah, that
you
they're
got guys
already
that are
done.
already 1 foot out the door.
Yeah. So we'll celebrate it. We'll have fun with the Phillies all day today. If you want to chime in, you can at 610-632-0975. We're going to get into another conversation about enjoyment of the Phillies later on in the show. But to start, just open table for you to celebrate the Phillies winning the NL East if you want to. Now, the other conversation we're going to get into is about
I
the
hope
Eagles.
people want to.
I hope so, too. But there's a lot of people that are of the wake me up when they get to the World Series and win the World Series crowd.
That's really sad.
I completely agree with you. All right, so we're 3 weeks into the NFL season, 3 weeks through the Eagles season. Obviously, we're going to focus more on the Eagles than the rest of the NFL, but I could ask this question about other teams in the NFL as well. But I want to know from you guys, what is something that we've learned so far through 3 weeks with the Philadelphia Eagles? Now, clearly, yesterday's show was a fascinating one because after a win, I came in pretty miserable.
I don't think you're miserable. I think you were just hypercritical.
I'm hypercritical because
I think you were hypercritical.
the two most important parts of a roster are the head coach and the quarterback, and they both had not so great days.
I don't think you were. I don't in any way think you were miserable. I just think I think you led with the negative, which to me was incredibly shocking. After that win in that situation at that time, I was surprised.
I was saying this. I think I mentioned on the show, but I was actually talking to Ray Dunn off the air yesterday, and I said I was miserable for 58 minutes of that game.
Oh, I understand the stress and the agony of it.
And so I wasn't going to all of a sudden be happy because they won. Right? I was happy that they won because it's in the W column, and that's important for the big picture of trying to win an NFC East divisional title, all that kind of stuff. All that's important, but bigger picture. You heard in the open. The bigger picture is getting back to an NFC championship.
Okay, well,
game.
no. Let's talk about NFC championship game in January.
Okay, fair.
Let's talk about where this team is in progressing. And you ask, what do we know? I know one thing. And I'll write it in my Sharpie.
Okay.
We have two grown men, intelligent men in charge of each side of the football.
Yeah.
The Eagles' offense, though you said yesterday, and I think you just didn't even realize you said it, just a misspeak, so I'm not holding you to it. The whole sputtering thing.
Yeah.
The Eagles are the second team in the NFL through 3 weeks in yards per game by the offense. The offense is moving the ball incredibly well. It's misfiring due to its quarterback turning over the ball and its head coach making stupid decisions to not cash in for points. But overall, the Eagles offense, second at best at moving the ball right now offensively,
Right.
which is damn good. And I think that's a really, really impressive thing. And by the way, in points per game, the Eagles now 12th.
Okay.
They're 12th in points per game. So
Offense or defense?
in offense.
Okay.
They're
And
12th.
where's defense? Because they got to
I'll
be
tell you,
at
they're-
least around.
They were 19th yesterday. I will get that number for you.
I
in
would
points
imagine
per
that
game.
drops, it's better than what it was after week 2, considering they only gave up 12 points. It's not like they got boat raced in week 2 against the Falcons.
Okay, they are 17th.
Okay, so middle of the pack,
So they're 17th in defense. They're 12th in offense.
which is we need the offense to go up.
Yeah, it needs well.
clearly.
And the thing is, how many points have been taken off the board by their quarterback and their head coach?
Right, exactly.
They easily are on pace to be a top 5 or 6
you add
offense.
what 12 points to that because of two field
easily.
goals last week and 2 field goals in week 2.
Oh no, they easily right. If you just add those points per game right there, the Eagles are a top 6 offense.
Right, exactly, and that's where we need them to be
Right.
in order to do something.
what
and
do
the
I know?
defense trends up.
What do I know? I know that I'm a Fangio.
Yeah,
I hope everybody else is becoming a Fangio too, and that Kellen Moore, the offense is moving. Can they overcome their quarterback and their head coach?
Okay. Something I learned, then Connor, I want to get yours. And we'd love to hear from you all show today. You can text in, you can call in at 610-632-0975. What have you learned through 3 weeks so far of this Eagles season? Through 3 weeks this season, Saquon Barkley was worth every penny.
That's a great one.
And I was thrilled when they signed him. But
So
I
was
was
was overseas, so I was out of the
That's
country.
right. You were out of the
I was
country.
at this seas, and I told you. I said I came back from the bar and I'm walking from the pool.
Christina
said,
told you.
Who's Saquano?
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley? Yeah. What was your reaction the minute you saw the news? Now, did you take into consider how did you think about paying running backs beforehand?
I was on the air. I was doing middays at the time.
Okay.
So I was on the air when Diana Rossini reported it's down to the Eagles and Texans.
So I was drinking while you were on the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Until I was on vacation.
So Eagles, Texans, and remember the legal tampering or illegal tampering.
Oh, yeah.
She reported this the minute it opened. So we knew this for a long time that it was the Eagles and another team, and it was Eagles, Texans. And my immediate reaction was, man, I normally wouldn't do this, but my God, would it just be fun to see. Like football GM Andrew wouldn't have done it.
Okay.
There's a reason why I'm not a GM in the NFL. But football Eagles fan was like, oh, my God, how do you stop this offense part 2, right? How many times did we say that last year? How are you going to stop this offense? You had Saquon Barkley, and my immediate reaction when the news came out was Jalen Hurts has no excuses this year because now he also has a run game that he can rely on if there are days where the passing game is not working. Perfect example is week 3 against the Saints. They were moving the ball downfield, but he was turning the football over. He fumbled one. He intercepted the other. They could rely on Saquon Barkley to bust one for 65 yards and score a touchdown when they're down 3-0. They didn't score all game. So my immediate reaction when they made the move, when they signed him, was sheer excitement. When I saw the contract, I was like, all right, something I normally wouldn't do, something Howie normally wouldn't do.
And at the time, when you saw the news, you didn't realize that it honestly is like a 2-year huge deal.
Right. Then you saw the cap
third
actually
year,
isn't that bad.
And the third year, very reasonable.
Yeah.
But it's no more than a 3-year deal.
But I've learned that guy's worth every penny. You touched on it yesterday, John. It's not just when he gets the football. It's what he does in the backfield blocking. It's what he does when his number isn't even called. If you're a defender, you have to be worried about Saquon Barkley. Are they going to hand the football off? That's why having Kellen Moore and a creative offense goes a long way with this team because you can run play action. You can run pre-snap motion. That play where Jalen Hurts checked into the Dallas Goedert 65-yard, that was just simple. Saquon Barkley was lined out outside. He came back behind the backfield. The defense, all right, what are they going to do here? What are they going to do here? Because it was a 3rd and 16. Are they going to run a screen pass? Just that simple pre-snap motion makes the other team think. And so Saquon Barkley now all of a sudden makes defenses have to scheme not just one way. They have to be worried about the run. They have to be worried about the pass. They have to be worried about everything that he can do out of the backfield. He's been worth every single penny. And, man, he's won them 2 games.
And also, too, I watched the 15-minute game yesterday before going down to the Phillies. the pass blocking that I told you about yesterday, that it was better
Oh, it's amazing.
than I thought. But it was better than I thought. And there were pass plays that were made in that game that were completely made due to the fact that Jalen was clean and was okay. Saquon Barkley plays every damn down.
And John,
he cares. He is a great teammate.
He is.
He's a great teammate because he sacrifices every time. He's a football player, I guess would
Right,
be
yeah.
the way it is.
He's
You're
a
a football guy, so
yeah.
you'd be able to recognize that.
And it's not just like pass blocking, like let me be the little running back that gets
I'm going to chip somebody.
gets rolled over by the linebacker, and you go, hey, way to beat Darren Sproles. I know you're 5'3", but you took on that missile of a linebacker. No, he's actually like he's standing upright.
Oh, he is.
He's blocking as if he's an offensive lineman.
I'm going to go as far as to say something good did come out of Penn State. And I've never said those words on Philly Sports Radio.
Hey, I'm willing
something
to
good
almost
came out.
be there. I'm willing to almost be there, John.
Yeah, almost. And then that's where it begins and ends.
Yeah. Connor, what is something that you've learned so far through 3 weeks of the Philadelphia Eagles? And again, we want to hear from you on this at 610-632-0975.
The defense has a chance to be significantly better than I thought they would be. Like, significantly.
What did you say, though? What was your number?
I would have been
16?
good. Like 15 to 18 was the range that I was looking at.
You think it can be better? I mean, it can be better.
Yeah,
we
dude.
already know
Like,
that.
here's the thing. Quinyon Mitchell is a player. That dude can get on the outside and defend wide receiver ones if he need to. You still have Darius Slay, so the pass defense is in a good spot. I know the pass rush has had issues, and I don't think you're going to see that vastly improve throughout the season, but Zach Bond has been a monster in the linebacking core.
He's leading the NFL in tackling.
Reed Blankenship has 2 game-sealing interceptions, and I think those are more the ball gets floated because you're trying to make a play as a
he
quarterback.
finds the ball.
I'll say this. I think the Green Bay one, and you guys know how I feel about the Reed Blankenship. I won't give
Are you going to
give
finally get off this or not?
I still think there's better
He's
safeties
a
in the
starter.
league.
Of
He's
course,
a
there are
starter.
better safeties in the league.
He's a starter when he's not the number one guy.
Well, that's fine.
I've said I don't mind him as number 2 or number 3.
Yeah, he's fine.
Anyways, the Green Bay one I thought was a legitimate pick. Last week, it was.
Oh, come on.
It was floated, but he made the play. No, he's the one saying it was floated.
It was floated.
Green Bay
but
was a legitimate pick, though.
Bottom line is the defense is making plays through 3 weeks that make me very comfortable with them being a top half of the NFL defense. And I don't know that they'll make it top 10, but I think we're very on line with the Vic Fangio. Like, what is he? Top 12 is the average? Like, that's what we're looking
For
at.
his career, he's always going to deliver you on average. You're going to be in the top 12. And if you can win a Super Bowl with a top 12 defense.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I doubted that they would get there. I thought middle of the pack was good enough, and I didn't know how Vic Fangio was going to get them to that point. And there's still a way to go. It's 3 weeks
There's
in.
a long way to go.
That's the number one thing I've learned is the upside of this defense is higher than I initially thought.
And that's what I was basing my confidence in. If you guys remember, how many times have we had conversations about this Eagles team on paper?
I mean, a summer of it.
Yeah, trust
Can
me,
I
man.
be honest?
Talk Eagles,
Can
baby.
I be honest there? Yeah,
Talk
it is.
Eagles, it sells. I was saying over and over again to you guys that last year the defense sucked, and you kind of knew it. Like, once it started happening, you were like, all right, I kind of expected this. Like, really, Zach Cunningham, Nicholas Moreau. Whereas this team, you look across the board, there's upside with every spot. Right? Like, you still have Jalen. I know Jordan Davis was a disappointment the first 2 weeks. You still have upside in Jordan Davis.
And Jordan Davis started out shot out of a cannon the first 2 years.
yes.
And then started out this year, first 2 games like it was terrible.
Yeah,
And then
until week 3.
And then week 3 looks fantastic.
But you have upside. Like, there's nobody on the defense where you go, that guy stinks, and when he has a bad game, I know he's going to have a bad game. Like, everybody else kind of has upside, except maybe Bryce Huff. Who knows? Howie Roseman may have made a mistake. We'll find out. It's been 3 games. I'm not willing to say that he is a bust signing, but through 3 games, it looks like he may be a mistake. But other than that, you have 11 guys on defense, unless there's injuries and like Keely Ringo has to go out there in the middle of a drive. There's upside with every player on the field.
By the way, too, is Keely Ringo in the course, and again, me not having my eyeballs on it every day at training camp, I'm not going to question the people who do. But I will ask is that all summer long we were hearing about Keely Ringo potentially being a starter.
Him and Rodgers, remember? And then Quinton Mitchell said, I got this.
And then Keely Ringo can't even really see the field.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't had to.
That hasn't had to, or they haven't decided to. I mean, they want Quinyon Mitchell out there.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
this kid is just, what he's doing And many rookie corners start in the NFL
Yes.
or get significant snaps. What he's doing, though, is you don't hear his name.
Yeah, which is great.
That's like, I mean, we're not hearing his name yet. And I'm jinxing him because someday we're going to come in here and it's going to be, man, that quarterback picked on Mitchell a little bit, and got him the bite. He's been unbelievable.
You know what's going to happen? So we have seen him be aggressive going after the football a couple times.
Right.
He's going to miss one, and the wide receiver's going to score a touchdown. But you know what he'll do the next week? He'll pick it off.
Okay, now, what's really strange is, and Connor, I'm not picking on Andrew. I love your optimism today. It's like you're looking at it and you're going, damn, this looks good.
Dude,
and I like that.
Yesterday, I was reacting to a game that I was not happy about. I still think this football team wins the division. They just got to get a lot of.
I hope so,
They
too.
got to get a lot of stuff together, and it starts with the head coach, who we're going to talk about next.
Oh, boy.
Because he spoke yesterday.
Here we go.
Talking about the first 3 weeks and what we've learned, we learned that Nick Sirianni is even more heavy-handed than we thought. We had this conversation last week that he was heavy-handed. It's even more than we thought. This man isn't just telling you to go for it on fourth down. He's calling the plays.
It's unbelievable.
Hear from Nick Sirianni coming up next. Also, Phillies still on the table. And what have you learned through 3 weeks so far? 610-632-0975. It's Kincade and Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies win the NL.
Salciunas 97.5, The Fanatic, on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Maybe I'm in a better mood today because the Phillies won. They won the NL East, man. That's a big deal.
You're in a really good mood today, and I'm happy for it. I'm happy for it. Because the thing is, look, your analysis is fine on the Eagles. You're not – and by the way, as we saw yesterday, many people aligned with your same viewpoint you had yesterday, but – I was shocked that you were more leaning towards, what's wrong over what was right. Because I think what's right about this team is actually a bigger story than what's wrong.
Well, I mean, I think it also comes off of where I'm coming from. I did tell you guys, and we touched on this at the end of the show yesterday, I'm holding Jalen Hurts to a higher standard this year, man.
And there's no reason why you shouldn't.
And can I say it, guys? He's got a turnover problem.
No,
and it has to freaking stop.
He's got the worst turnover problem in the NFL.
Yeah, I didn't go out on a ledge there.
And that should be screamed from the mountaintops from everybody. There shouldn't be the Jalen Hurts Apologist Club.
We had a call at the end of the show. We didn't get to him, and I felt bad. Turnovers aren't on him.
That's ridiculous.
Stop.
Now wait.
It's okay to say that Jalen Hurts makes mistakes that he can get better at, because I can't say if you take away the two turnovers. You take away the two turnovers, the guy threw the ball well.
Devontae could have done a better job.
He could have.
Definitely.
Of fighting for that ball, but he cannot pull the trigger. There was plenty of time, and when you watch it in slow motion, there was plenty of time for him to just make the decision.
And by the way, his first read was Dotson, who was actually open for a first down. Wouldn't have been a touchdown. Would have been a first down inside the 5-yard line. He looked, and that's where he looked. His eyes were on Dotson, and then he turns and makes the trust throw to Devontae.
My number one thing that I wrote down at the top of my notes yesterday from watching the 15-minute game, and it's weird that you say that, I saw 4 or 5 times where Dotson was open and Hurts passed going to him.
And who was it? DeCecco that said to us it could just be a lack of comfort thing. We had somebody
right now,
else.
Yes,
we had a guest on. I don't know if it was DeCecco or one of our fine guests that we have on a weekly basis, and we'll speak with Jeff.
It probably
later
was
on today.
Andrew.
Somebody said it might be a lack of trust thing
because he was. There's at least, well, I shouldn't say 4 or 5. There were at least 3 wide open opportunities where you would think, here's the read, here's Dotson, give him a chance to make a play.
Right.
And by the way, he's pretty good after the catch, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's got some wheels.
Yeah.
And it seems as if the chemistry's not there to even trust him.
Maybe that's what it is, because he looked at him. It's not like he just didn't even look his way. He looked his way, and then he made the throw over to Tyrann Mathieu, not Devontae Smith. But that's besides the point. So our opening question today regarding the Eagles, we have a Phillies topic that we're going to get to, but as of right now, if you just want to celebrate the Phillies winning the NL East last night, feel free to text in, call in 610-632-0975. It's been 13 years, man.
And 13 years, and Andrew's wearing a shirt that he bought 13 years, or your parents bought for you.
Yes.
13 years ago.
No, this is 08. So this is 14 years ago.
That's amazing.
That's more than that.
That's not even close to
16 years.
Let's mention, because it has to be said, and we did not mention it enough. That is 3 of 4 outings for Nola, where he has been fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's important to note, because where you just get used to the glitter of consistency with Zach Wheeler, we hope that that's where Aaron Nola's rolling into. And Ricky Bo talks about it on the best show ever. And just being around the stadium yesterday and talking to some of the fine guys who cover this team, and ladies, who cover this team on a daily basis, I do believe right now the Sanchez thing for Game 2 starter is real.
Interesting. Get him at home.
The righty-lefty
and you want to
rotation
maybe pitch
thing.
him at home.
Get
and let
Sanchez at home. Let Nola, the veteran, the dog, be able to pitch on the road. I asked a Major League Baseball player yesterday who told me, your Phillies are winning the World Series. And I said, why? And he goes, there's no better team, I don't think, that can go 11-8. He said, you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, it's a great.
You don't
point.
have to be perfect. He goes, there's no better team suited to go 11-8. He goes, the 3 starters you're going to lean on the most, the 5 relievers you're going to lean on the most, the home run pop in the bats. He goes, I think you're the most likely team to go 11-8. And I said, what could keep them from winning? And he said one thing, and it was really weird. He said, if you had to use Zach Wheeler twice in the NLDS. He said, if Zach Wheeler has to go game 1, game 5.
Right.
Or game 1, game 4 to try to save your
You'd rather
season.
have him twice in the NLCS.
He says, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you had to do that, you might be vulnerable.
Right.
So
Okay,
it's
interesting
just
point.
interesting, but everybody's high on it.
Yeah.
Everybody's high on the Phillies, which is great.
So we're celebrating it today. If you want to chime in, 610-632-0975. Our Eagles question, what have we learned through 3 weeks this season? We learned something yesterday.
What'd you learn?
We learned that Nick Sirianni is calling plays.
And this, I feel duped. Do you feel duped? Do you
Yes,
feel duped? Do you
and
feel
I
like,
feel-
and I'm not talking the Philadelphia Union.
No, I feel duped, and I feel a little angry because
I drove down listening to the best show ever yesterday down to the stadium. I am angry.
did you not realize you were horrible at it, Nick? Have been horrible
No,
at it.
I have his own freaking words, and we can share it. I have his own words where he told you. No, he told you in 2021 that he didn't feel it was his strength. And now he's doing it over Kellen Moore?
Yeah.
No.
So here's Nick Sirianni. We'll play this clip first. This is an alarming clip as well. He was asked once again about the 4th down stuff because remember, John, after the Saquon Barkley drop and some of the other 4th down decisions against the Falcons, he had a lot of conviction, right?
Yeah,
Remember, he was my chart, and this is what I believe, and blah, blah, blah. You guys are wrong, and I'm right.
He had a lot to say.
He did not have a lot to say yesterday about it. Take a listen.
Can I say this? Every time I do something like that, I'm doing it because I think it gives us the best chance to win the football game. And knowing very well, when you don't convert on 4th down, that's going to be 100% on me.
Well, there was more. I'll try to find the quote. There was more to that answer. He basically straight up said, "I don't have to keep on explaining it to you."
Oh, no. He literally got Jeff McClain,
Yeah.
and he's spooked by Jeff McClain. Jeff McClain has Nick Sirianni spooked. And it is all of a sudden we're getting into the defensive mode.
Yeah, I don't have to explain it to you
I'm not
anymore.
going to do this on a weekly basis. Take you behind the curtain. So as I said to you last week, when he did the gigantic, like a school project on telling us about his chart and how it comes together and everything, it's obvious he got taken to the principal's office and scolded about that.
Maybe.
Because he didn't want to do it yesterday. I'm not going to get into the habit of doing that.
Yeah, but you know what else that is? It's last year with the pre-snap motion. Oh, we're doing this again? Like,
he's condescending.
when he's wrong, he gets very, very defensive.
That's because his brother told him that he's right.
And Coach Dan, the
His brother and Coach Dan, the Little League coach, told him he was right, too.
Yeah.
So what the hell do you know? What do you all know? You don't know anything. Coach Dan thinks this.
Hey, leave Coach Dan out of this. He's got a great record.
And then he also
What's
said,
he coaching, like 8-year-olds? I heard it. Yes.
yeah, he probably is.
Bill
Now-
Colarulo says
now-
he goes, what's he coaching 9-year-olds?
Now, that wasn't even the more damning clip. That was just one where it's like, it's annoying. Like, now all of a sudden, because your back's up against the wall, you're going to drop the I don't have to explain myself to you anymore. Here he is telling you that he calls plays.
I wanted you guys to know yesterday that in that scenario, with a questionable call there, that I made that decision, right? And so that's why I let you guys in on that, because Kellen didn't need to bear that because I did that. And so that's why I brought you in on that yesterday, not to open the door of, well, how many times you call this or how many times you call that or how many times is this, it's collaborative. And in that particular case, I called that one and it didn't work. And when that happens, I will always make sure that you guys know about that.
He's so proud of himself.
He's calling
too.
plays now.
He's so proud of himself to try to tell us something that he's doing.
Yeah.
It's because he was deballed. It's because they took him out at the knees.
Yep.
And he now wants to tell us, well, this is what I'm controlling. This
That's
is
what
me.
it seems like it might be.
This is dumb.
And again, he contradicts himself all the time. During the offseason, we got 17 different answers from him about what his role was with the offense. Oh, well, it's Kellen Moore's offense. Oh, well, it's a collaboration. Well, I'm in the meeting room sometimes, but sometimes I'm with the defense. Like, he gave 17 different answers during the offseason about his role with the offense. Now, all of a sudden, we're finding out that he's calling critical plays, by the way. Like, not 1st and 10 from your 25. He's calling the plays on 3rd and short, 4th downs. You know what? The job that he lost or gave up or whatever the story was in 2021, now he's calling plays in critical moments. He may have called the pass play to Saquon Barkley. I don't know.
Now I think we do know that. I think that too.
So that might not. We kind of blamed Kellen Moore for it. We said he shouldn't be blameless. Maybe he is. Nick Sirianni just admitted to you that he is calling plays in important moments of games. That has to stop.
No one's going to. I mean, honestly, they left this guy in the building, and now he's messing with stuff.
Would love your reaction to that as well. What have we learned through 3 weeks this Eagles season? Celebration of the Phillies NL East division winners last night. And when you hear Nick Sirianni is now also calling plays, what's your reaction to that? I hope Howie and Jeffrey Lurie heard that too. And I hope he has another meeting this week. We'll get to your text messages coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The real and inside story on the Phillies is on
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Hey, don't forget, this Saturday, Fan Fest.
Yes.
It's coming our way at Xfinity Live, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. So make sure you got your tickets. And if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, contact some people. I don't know what you've been waiting for. It is this week. It is this Saturday, starting at 1 o'clock. Connor texted me yesterday. What time do you want to get there? 10? I was like, 10?
What, do you got something to do?
10's a little early.
It's a little early.
Maybe 11?
1 o'clock first
Guys,
pitch.
we wake up at 4 a.m. every day. 10's the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah,
guys.
That is
a good point.
That's not a bad point.
Also, don't forget, it is a Temple Tuesday, Johnny. So
It is.
and they got to win. They beat Utah State.
They did.
I did say take the over, which is 2.5 wins. So they're almost there, John.
Johnny Utah. You see, I wonder if one of those 3 wins that they need, though, was passed already.
Probably.
I'm a little concerned.
Yeah,
but it's all right.
probably.
Did I have a fever dream, or did they hit like a 63-yard field goal?
64-yard field goal. Yeah.
Longest 63, longest field goal in the link.
Yep.
Well, at least you guys got a kicker.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
that's-
they- well,
hey,
guess
we
what?
now know that. Yeah.
That kid puts tape like that and hits a couple more of those.
Oh, he's in the NFL.
He'll be in the NFL.
Yeah, he's playing Sundays. So as the show continues, we have 5 4-packs of Temple tickets to give away for this Thursday's game. It's a Thursday nighter against Army, which that's always cool. So we'll let you know as the show goes on. How about we give away the first one right now, 215-263-0975. Give our 6 o'clock listeners
How about the 63rd
a little
call?
love.
Oh, no, let's not do that.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's do call number 1. Whoever wants it. Call number 1 to the contest line, 215-263-0975. Will win our first of 5 4-packs to the Temple football game this Thursday. They battle Army. Don't miss primetime college football showdown when the Owls battle Army this Thursday at 7:30 at Lincoln Financial Field. For tickets, visit owlstix.com. All right, I know we have texts coming in about the Phillies and Eagles. Let's start with the Phillies one. I want people to realize that we are talking Fightins today as they clinched the NL East crown last night. We do have our Eagles question that I'll remind you of, but what do we got on the Phillies on the text line, Connor?
So fitting, the first Phillies text comes from Clearwater. Jacob in Clearwater says,
right.
Celebrate. I was in high school going for my permit the last time they won the division. I'm now 27, married with 2 beautiful daughters. I watched every minute of that celebration last night, and I'm excited for what this team still has in front of them.
Yeah, I did that when the Phillies made the playoffs in 2022. I'm sure we all kind of had the same moment of, man, it's been 11 years.
They were in Houston,
How
I think, celebrating at that time.
But you're going, how much has your life changed in 11 years? Because an 11-year playoff drought, especially in a major market like Philadelphia, just can't happen. But this is another big one. I mean, it's been 13 years since they won the division crown. I was a junior in high school, dude.
Yeah, same.
And that was the best team I ever saw in my life. That 2011 Phillies team, and they lost. They lost.
All right, easy.
But no, I mean that's the.
We don't need to do all
No,
that.
but what I'm saying is like that was one of my more memorable seasons of being a Phillies fan, and that was 13 years ago, dude. That's crazy.
That is incredible.
13
that is
years
incredible
ago.
how you do that.
You were in Atlanta.
And I was in Atlanta, and I was freaking envious on the Braves flagship
Yeah.
station that I'm, watching that go on here. That's one of the reasons why last night I was going to be in there
Yeah.
to see all that, because I covered so many of those champagne celebrations
Well, you
over
covered
my
what,
20-some years.
13 years in a row.
It was unbelievable.
Were you there for all 13?
I was there
straight?
I was 2000 on.
Oh, okay.
And it was, but I saw a ton of it.
That's still
And it was
6 years in a row.
It was
you saw
constantly, and then it was the early ones in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Then it was the later ones. I mean, it was a ton. And so to me, seeing the Phillies celebrate was extra special.
That's
It was
cool.
great.
All right, what do we got on the text line about our Eagles question, which is what have we learned through 3 weeks with the Philadelphia Eagles? John's answer was that we have adults in the room. Mine was that Saquon Barkley's been worth every single penny, and Connor's was that the defense may be better than what we anticipated. So what do we got on the text line?
Edwin from Philly checks in, says, what I've learned so far 3 weeks into the season is I've learned Quinyon Mitchell is a legit player. He's everything is advertised and then some. You may have very well found your quarterback one of the future.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that he has to be that guy, right? I mean,
Yeah, dude,
for
no
where
doubt.
they drafted him and everything
Yeah.
at some point.
And again, I mean, look, I know Howie Rosen's been under fire recently because of the Bryce Huff thing, and we always talk about the draft. The fact that he was able to sit on his hands and not have to trade up. Remember Quinyon Mitchell? They're going to have to trade up if they want to get him. He read that draft board. Because, look, I know Howie Roseman gets ripped for the draft all the time, and deservedly so. He read that draft board very well.
Howie's ability to not only read his own draft board, but to understand what the league's doing.
Yeah.
And to not jump to go get somebody that he wants.
Yeah.
Is really.
Now, sometimes the selection's bad, like, Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, but.
No.
He waited. He knows not to.
Talent evaluation in question. He might be telepathic, though. We might have to look into that.
It could be. And look, he read that for Quinyon Mitchell falling, and he was able to get him. That's a great text. What else do we got?
We also have people checking in on what they've learned, and I mean, I can't believe we're doing this with the Sirianni thing, but this text, no name on this one. Are we sure Sirianni isn't just doing the whole I take responsibility thing to protect Kellen Moore?
Was that from Bill?
I have a hard time.
He's not
there's
protecting.
No name on it.
He's not protecting Kellen Moore.
Because we just got a tweet
That's
from
ridiculous.
Bill. We just got a tweet from Bill Brown. You and I did, John.
Same thing.
Do you guys believe Nick, though? He's taking the blame on everything. He'd take the blame for you guys being late to dinner. He's doing it because he's clueless and he thinks that's what a leader does.
He's
also
not.
keeps the players happy with his antics.
No, and by the way, I don't know where you get he keeps the players happy.
Tune in at 7:30 for some interesting audio from ESPN.
I don't believe. If you believe he's keeping the players happy, I think that might be a overstatement.
Just remember, I said to you guys yesterday, it's great and all that he always takes the blame, but at what point does that run thin because
that it starts to wear?
Because it happens over and over and over again, right? When he's constantly taking the blame and, by the way, constantly making the same mistakes, at what point do players tune that out?
Dude, outside of visually, is there any reason why in the world this guy's back?
No, I got to tell you right now, I scoffed at you guys. I mean, I didn't.
I think they didn't want it to be a bad look.
I didn't disagree with you guys. I sort of scoffed at the whole idea that you guys taught and the people who spoke of replacing him. Look, I flat out, I may have been wrong on that one big time.
It happens,
We all fertilize.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's enough manure being spread at his press conferences.
Yeah, dude.
Stinky.
He used the word tough or toughness 7 times yesterday for Johnny Wilson.
Man, he's got buzzwords.
It was a 1.5 minute long answer on like the 6th wide receiver on the depth chart.
I told you. It would take him 50 words to tell the secretary happy birthday.
Coming up next, we reset the show. We'll get more of your text messages and your calls. Also, we have a question about the Phillies. You wrote something not long ago that was spot on. I hope it changed last night. I hope people finally realized it's okay to have some fun and enjoyment with the Phillies. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils are division.
.701 on Kincade and Salciunas on this Tuesday morning here on 97.5 The Fanatic on a Temple Tuesday. All right, so the Phillies win the NL East. We're clearly talking about that today. Coming up around 7:10, we have a question that we'll run by you, or we'll just talk out, because I think there are a lot of people, John, that need to have this discussion.
You mean need to be spoken to a little bit?
Yeah. Because it's if you didn't have fun last night, then stop watching sports. Like I don't know what else to tell you.
Let's hope not. Let's hope we don't run into a ton of them.
We'll get into that coming up in a little bit. By the way, the Phillies put out a great tweet last night that was perfect for you.
What was that?
It's a photo of inside the clubhouse, and front and center is Garrett Stubbs, and the tweet was Chief Vibes Officer reporting for duty. Listen, man. That was his time to shine last night. That was his game 7, right?
Let's hope not. I hope that there's a big sock that they can, should they advance in the postseason, that they can just stick in his mouth to make sure he doesn't do anything to incite the other side. We make no.
I don't think they have to do that this year.
We make the big deal over Arcia and how bad that was.
Yeah.
What he did last year was so freaking stupid.
I know.
Yeah, but he won't do it this year.
No, he's not going. I don't think they need to put a sock in his mouth. I think he realized he's not
staying away from microphones unless they're celebrating something.
He found the camera yesterday.
Yeah, they're celebrating a division. John.
He found the camera yesterday.
Oh, by the way, he actually had to play a little bit this year.
Oh, he did. Yes, he did.
He did.
And by the way,
JT missed a lot of time.
I'll say it flat out. Because just like I'll say with Nola when he deserves it, I think he was a much better player in 2024 than he was in 2023.
That batting average is at 203 this year, man.
I think he was a much better player.
Oh, yeah, man. Doza's got nothing on Stubbs.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think he was a better defensive player.
Yes, he was.
His defensive game has taken a step forward. He was gunning some people out. Look, I'll give him his due. He shouldn't be the backup catcher next year, but he did a good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good job.
All right, you can text it. You can call in 610-632-0975. Our Phillies discussion. We're going to get into a specific topic in a few minutes, but right now, open floor. You excited about the Phillies? Have at it. And then when it comes to the Eagles, what is something that you have learned through 3 weeks so far this season when it comes to the Eagles? Connor, give us a text on that, and then I want to get to a call because I believe I already know what the story is, and John may not even know it.
Really? Okay.
All right, what do you got?
Blaine from Kentucky says, I know it's still early, but I think so far I've learned that new additions have completely changed the vibes and energy in this team. Watching Chauncey Gardner-Johnson pumping guys up and showing energy, and watching Saquon on the sideline after the game-winning touchdown, pumping up our defense, and Jalen Carter before taking the field. Man, the vibe of this team is completely different from last year.
Oh, by the way, speaking of pumping people up, do you have the Fred Johnson audio?
No.
All right, can you find it?
Okay.
I quote tweeted it yesterday, it's there.
They love Fred.
Dude.
They love Fred.
Can I tell you, every once in a while, an athlete says something so human where it just puts a freaking smile on your face. Because, look, Jalen Hurts is not the only quarterback that speaks like a robot, right? Like, I got to do a better job. We make fun of it because he's ours and he's extra robotic. But, every coach, every quarterback says the same couple things during post-game press conferences, especially when the emotions are still high. You get very few moments like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's popping off like he did the other day. What Fred Johnson said, and we'll play it for you coming up, was just like, it put a freaking smile on my face. I wanted to hug that man.
Oh, I love this.
We'll play that for you coming up in a little bit, but this might be a story that I think you told me about, Johnny.
Okay.
Let's go to my buddy, Ben in Montgomeryville. What's up, Benny?
Yo, what's up, guys? How are you?
Hi, Ben.
What's up, Ben? How you doing, brother?
Oh, my gosh. So this is actually a crazy story. So I was going to a Phillies game yesterday, okay?
All right.
I was with my friend Christian Vogel, and I was driving next to, I saw John, and I said, wait, what did you do for work? And he goes, I don't know. I said,
You will
"Wait."
know. What did you ask me first?
So I said, are you a CEO? And
Are
he
you a
goes,
CEO?
That's okay. Listen, man, I can see it.
and I said, wait, you're from 97.5 The Fanatic. And I said, I'm friends with Andrew Salciunas. And he goes, no, you're not. I said, yes, I
That's
am.
my man, Benny from Montgomeryville,
Well,
man.
there it was. I told him that you would be calling this morning, Ben.
Benny, we appreciate it, man. That's so cool that you saw John, side by side yesterday.
And I was not like racing or anything like that. We were neck and neck traffic.
Yeah,
just
you guys
going
were taking your
forward,
time.
jockeying.
Benny, great hearing from
Good
you,
job,
man.
Ben.
Go Eagles! E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles! And go Phillies!
I love you.
And
There's-
Phillies, too.
Yes, there's Benny from Montgomeryville, the great Eagles autism captain.
Ben was.
He's great, man.
Ben was fantastic. Yeah, he pulls up next to you in traffic, and I'm just look. I needed some music after that, just detoxing out of there, and I smelled like a distillery. And I'm thinking, if I get pulled over, I'm in trouble.
You're done, yeah.
And Ben goes, "Hey, what do you do for work?
You do look like you could be a CEO.
What do you do for work?" He goes, "You look like a CEO."
Like Connor and I don't look like CEOs.
Speak for yourself,
No,
bro.
dude.
That's a Hawaiian shirt says upper management.
Dude, it's the hair.
It is.
It's the hair. That's all it is.
Yeah. So you
Is
got the
that,
look. You got the look to
No,
a
but I mean,
CEO.
what's that? CEOs have hair?
Yes.
I mean, seriously? Unbelievable.
All right, give us one more text about our Eagles conversation. What is something that you've learned through 3 weeks this season? And then we're going to get into a Phillies discussion that I think we need to have. And this is going to be friend to friend, this conversation. What do we got, Connor?
So we have people checking in on the Sirianni calling the plays on fourth down thing as well. So Joe says Sirianni fell on the sword last year to keep his job. He's going to take the fall for everything to keep his job. He says, I'm cynical, so maybe this is Joe the cynic.
It is.
But I
Joe's
definitely feel that
being
he
cynical.
is protecting everyone to protect his job, and he's covering for Kellen Moore with that explanation.
Okay, it's absolutely 100%, not 99. It's 100% not true. That is absolutely fan fiction. Isn't that what the people do? They write fan fiction for like Batman and stuff like that. It's fan fiction. That is absolutely not the case.
Okay, sit
Nick
for
Sirianni
Johnny's in
is-
absolutes again.
Nick Sirianni is not making stuff up to cover for Kellen Moore.
Well, he did make up a pass interference.
Kellen Moore is not being covered for.
Literally last
and that's
year, Andrew's right. He made
did
up
make up
something to
even-
cover for his players.
He even said that he called the play, not Kellen Moore, when he went for the fourth. And he even clarified that to the
Well,
media
in
yesterday
fairness-
that he called the
Well,
play.
I'd be
He
curious.
said, I made that call.
Kellen Moore speaks today, and maybe we'll get some more insight on that. And we'll be able to obviously talk about it tomorrow.
Kellen Moore has never had to be. Kellen Moore has a resume 5 times as long as Nick Sirianni as far as accomplishments on the offensive side of the ball. He does not have that. And again, he's the guy I want calling plays. He's the guy I want making those decisions. I want Nick Sirianni far away from it.
Yeah.
Far away.
Welcome to the dark side, Johnny.
Unbelievable.
Put
Here's
him
the thing,
in the
right?
broom closet.
Let's pump the brakes just a little bit here.
On
You
what?
know how I feel about Nick Sirianni. I'm not trying to defend the guy just to defend the guy.
Okay.
I wanted him gone. But he didn't say, like, I made the play call decision to do this. He said, I made that call, which can be interpreted as I made the decision to go for it. He hasn't expressly said that yet. So let's make sure that we're in a spot where we know for sure before we're assuming these things.
How about I will tell you that there's enough people that are close to this team, far closer than I am, that it's no questions asked. Nick Sirianni is absolutely not covering for Kellen Moore. That is humorous. That would be that anybody would think that.
And oh, by the
He's
way,
not- if anything, he's not going to want to look worse. Nick Sirianni's doing everything he can to try to look good.
Right.
To try to look like, I'm Billy Big Balls. I'm in charge of this team. This is my call. This is my team.
Well,
and I'm doing that.
Remember, he sticks to his core values, and one of them is accountability. Is he trying to say,
I got to tell you, he doesn't have it. He didn't have that. His own core value. I would tell you, go get some spray paint today and tag the damn wall, because he didn't have it yesterday when Jeff McClain dared to question him.
Yeah.
He didn't have
I don't have to-
accountability.
I don't have to answer
I don't
that
have to answer
every
that.
week.
So Nick doesn't believe in accountability. Much like a lot of what he does, he just talks. He talks and he talks and he talks some more. And then when he's asked to walk the walk, he doesn't have an ounce of accountability.
Well,
when
you're-
Jeff McClain calls him on it and asks him to explain himself, he doesn't have accountability.
Okay, you're going back and forth now, though, because now he just talks to talk, but before he 100% wouldn't talk and just make something up.
He's
So,
not-
we don't know what
Connor,
Nick
yes.
Sirianni has no clue what he's doing, and we don't know what he's doing.
Look, I'll
so
take
I'm not
it.
going to say
well,
with
here's the
100%
deal.
certainty he's doing
I'm going to take
anything.
his word for it then, because he's the one that always talks
Okay.
about how he did this, he did that. I'm going to take his word for it.
Okay, I gotta get. I'll share it for you off the air. I had somebody's listening in to this conversation that is very well connected, and he's like, "This is the craziest conspiracy theory he's heard." That Nick Sirianni is covering for Kellen Moore.
Oh, by the way, the fake tush push play call, he called Jalen over. And I'm pretty sure he was the
Yes.
one that decided, hey, we're going to go for it and let's run the fake tush
Yeah,
push.
I'm not saying he's
not covering for Kellen Moore.
I'm not saying he's 100% is. I'm just saying, John, you have this tendency to say 100% certain things are a way that they are without knowing for 100% certain. That's not fair to the coach. It's not.
It is when he. Is it fair? So you're assuming what he says.
I'm not
You're going to
assuming
say
anything. I'm saying there's a possibility
he
of
calls
both.
the player over. He explains that he
John,
did it.
there's one person assuming in this conversation, and you're sitting right there.
It's not. He's the one who tells you what happens. You watch the video. He calls him over and is there instructing on the play.
I understand. And I think more likely than not, largely more likely than not, Nick Sirianni called that play and called that decision. But I'm not going to sit here and say 100% certainty.
He said he did.
Okay.
Connor, you can go to Scooby-Doo Land all you want. You can go to. You can go. You're going to Scooby-Doo. You're a Scooby-Doo. You can go to your Scooby-Doo conspiracy
John,
theories. He called
stop
him
trying
over.
to make my point something it's not. I'm saying that it's more likely than not that Nick Sirianni did what you believe he did. But to say 100% certainty is going to make you look dumb.
He told you.
We're moving on.
He told you he did it.
We're moving on.
And you can watch the video and see him doing it.
All right. Well, when Kellen Moore says today that he made that play call, we're gonna look still.
It's time for recess. I'm
Oh
the
my
I'm the
gosh.
judge, jury, and the executioner. It's time for recess.
There
All
we
right.
go. What do we
Hopefully
got?
no executioner,
Yeah,
please.
well,
No,
listen,
please.
you never know. It's
not that deep.
I was about to say something. I bit my tongue. All right. The Phillies won the division yesterday.
They did.
And today should be a celebratory day, John. You wrote something on 97.5thefanatic.com that I thought was absolutely spot on. And I do believe there is context to it, and some people have the right to their opinion. But it got to the point where it almost made this season miserable for us. It almost got to the point where people were bringing us down, John. By the way, did your bets cash?
No, wait a minute.
I'm not talking about your Parks bets.
They all did.
I'm talking about the guys that said
So
they were
I
going to
am-
miss the playoffs.
I am expecting today that we will see from three different individuals. We will see a tweet with the AACR getting their money. That they wagered with me saying that the Phillies were going to choke. It was, they're going to blow the division.
Missed the playoffs with one of them.
One was miss the playoffs. Two were blow the division. So I'm waiting today. And yes, I keep receipts. I'll give it 48 hours, and then I will expose if I don't see it.
We got John C. Gardner Johnson over here.
Damn right, man.
I don't have any necklace to put on people.
Okay.
Or anything like that.
We'll get you a chain.
You don't got no ice? Come on,
Talk
man.
to your boys up in Nari Jewelers.
All right, so what
Good
did you
call.
write? What did you write in your article that I am telling you is spot on for the people to know?
I would suggest that this year was the most angst-ridden, unjoyous, great team we've ever had in Philly.
Explain yourself.
I think that usually when we have a great team, we have a division-winning team, anything like that, especially in baseball, we celebrate them greatly.
Yes.
I think this team was trashed over and over again, and it was dumb. It was dumb that they did that. It was dumb that people did that they didn't enjoy the moment. And I think what it was is, a part of it is, and I've said it before and I wrote about it then, is the whole stupid underdog masks thing.
Oh, people love it.
People want to be the fictional character
I want to be
of
top
Rocky,
dog. People don't.
and they don't want to be the favorite, because you know what happens with the favorite? When you're the favorite, you have expectations. And fans would rather be the underdog. Oh, we're the underdog. We're scrappy. Nobody likes us. We don't care, which is the biggest bunch of BS ever told. And to me, I think that's what fans prefer here. They don't prefer being top dog, high expectations. Everybody is counting on you to win. This year, explain that to me. This is a 93-win team. They did a great, great job. And I think a lot of people didn't enjoy the ride.
Which
and
is
I hope
crazy
this morning,
to me.
I hope this morning that they wake up and say, you know what? I can still redeem myself.
Yeah, look, and that this is why I'm trying to say this is a conversation from friend to friend. Me, John, Connor, three guys that never thought the division lead was gonna slip out of their hands or even go as far as missing the playoffs. We've been confident in this team. We may be critical when it's necessary because there are times to be critical of a baseball team.
No question.
But they won 93 games this year and could get close to 95. We'll see how hard they play the rest of the season. They still should because if they want the 1 or 2 seed in the playoffs. But this baseball team, more often than not, if you went to the ballpark or if you put on NBC Sports Philadelphia or if it was an Apple TV game or if it was a nationally televised ESPN or NBC game, more often than not, you were putting on a baseball game where your team was going to win. And not like...
Every fifth day that would not be true, but it was okay. Yeah.
Right. For the most part, you were putting on the Phillies.
Yes.
And your team was going to win a baseball game. And you were going to see something amazing. Kyle Schwarber hitting, 7,000-foot home runs and finishing with 100 RBI. Bryce Harper waiting for that moment for him to break through, which we have started to see. Nick Castellanos, the turnaround that he's had from the beginning of the season where he struggled in the month of April, but then was great in May, June, and July. Seeing the moments of Weston Wilson with his cycle. Right. And, seeing a growth for a guy like Johan Rojas, right? Seeing a lot of things with this team every single night, there was a little bit of a different storyline because that's what baseball does for you. You have 9 guys on the field. You have, unless a pitcher's throwing a complete game shutout, for the most part, 13 guys are involved in a baseball game on a given night. And you had a lot of guys contribute in many different ways. Sometimes magical, sometimes just elite, sometimes they just found a way to make something happen. And that's why you won 93 games in the division last night. I just wish people did enjoy it more.
Why do you think they didn't?
I think to your point.
You think it's my point?
I think the expectations, I think the last 2 playoff losses, right, the World Series, put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth with the no-hitter specifically. Obviously how last year ended against the Diamondbacks, which still
was terrible.
Inexcusable. But man, this Phillies team is good. They might have a flaw in their lineup every once in a while if their bats go cold. What team doesn't? What team doesn't have a night where they can't get a hit or a 2-game stretch where they don't hit the ball well? It happens. It's baseball. It's a tough sport to play. And to sit there through an entire season worrying about what will happen in October when you were watching a historic baseball team in April, May, and June, breaking franchise record after franchise record, but worrying about what was to come in October, I think that was the biggest thing for a lot of people, and that's a shame.
Well, the one thing is that if someone wants to live that life as a Sixers fan, you have my full endorsement. I'm like Fred McGriff. I'll tell you got my full endorsement.
But
if
enjoy
a
Joel Embiid 70-point night.
You can enjoy an individual thing, but but for the team, I totally understand if you say, I'm tired of hearing the same old song and dance every year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Totally get it. Not for the Phillies. Not after the last 2 years.
Oh, they've been to a World Series and an NL Championship Series.
And they've come up in big moments. They've given you big moment things. And it's one of the things like with Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola can frustrate the hell out of you. But he also has given you many big moments.
Absolutely.
And delivered in some many prime moments. Last night was vintage ice in the veins Nola.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
It's just got to be miserable to go through a season like that.
And that's the thing. For those of you who were like that, waiting for the shoe to drop or waiting for October for them to I feel like I'm reading The Places You Go. The Dr. Seuss book. I read that every night to Cooper. If you're just waiting for bad things to happen with this Phillies team, then you didn't enjoy the season. Do you realize this morning, now that they won the NL East, that you may have missed out a little bit? Feel free to sit down on the couch and talk to your buddies. 610-632-0975. We get back to the Eagles discussion as well. And coming up next, if you're tired of hearing us about Nick Sirianni, how about a former NFL player and a pretty damn good one? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
It is 7:30 on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Coming up at 8 o'clock, your next chance to win $1,000 with the keyword that I will tell you about. I almost said it. Keyword comes your way at 8 o'clock.
You were going to give it away
I was
early?
about to give it away. And then Jeff McClain will join us at 8:10 as he does every single Tuesday. So we're looking forward to talk to Jeff, get his reaction to the Eagles' Week 3 win, and, of course, his question to Nick Sirianni in the press conference where Nick Sirianni basically said, I don't have to talk about this anymore. Yeah, you do when you keep on making boneheaded decisions on fourth down, and you have now admitted that you are calling plays in these key spots. Yeah, you have to talk about it, Nick. You have to.
You do. No, he's not. He doesn't want to have to do this. He's above reproach.
Yeah, he was above play action pre-snap motion last year. We now run it almost every single play.
It just is a...
Sometimes you're wrong, Nick, and it's okay to admit that.
He's giving off the vibes of coaches that I've seen many, many times in my career that feel like they're on a ledge.
So I touched on this yesterday, and we're going to play you some audio from Teddy Bruschi, who, Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots, has been with ESPN for a handful of years now. I said this to you guys yesterday. At some point, the taking accountability of, and it starts with me, and it's my fault, and I got to do a better job. It's one thing if you're Andy Reid and you're winning all these games and you are doing a better job at things. It's another thing when you're making more mistakes, right?
Yep.
Like Nick Sirianni made some mistakes week 1. Not too bad. Some mistakes week 1.
Some. But I thought he had a good day. I thought he outcoached
Ultimately, I thought he had a good day.
Yeah.
Week 2, he made more mistakes. Week 3, despite the victory, he had the most amount of mistakes in a game so far this season. So he has gotten worse, right? Week 1, week 2,
yes.
Week 3, he has made more and more mistakes as the weeks go on. So at some point, when you keep on saying, I got to do a better job,
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
You made the analogy of the guy that comes home drunk.
Right.
Every single time.
And it's
I got to stop.
No, I promise this will never happen again. Huh?
Yeah.
And then
it keeps on happening.
Tuesday night you come in, you smell like I smelled last night walking in the door.
And at some point, one thing for at home disputes between husband and wife, it's another thing when it's 53 guys going, yeah, coach, you keep on doing these things, and we might be losing football games because of you. Imagine and think about it. They almost lost, right? They won. Yeah, they won. They're 2-1. They almost lost because of another Nick Sirianni decision. They could be 1-2 because of him.
And if you look post game, he is wanting so direly to be involved in the celebration.
Yeah.
And you just watch the players' energy with him. Just watch it. I don't believe that there is this, man, he's one of us. He's got all the big talk that he gave us last week and that he gave us after the game. The energy on the field did not reflect that. It reflected it come on, we're celebrating here, coach.
Yeah, well,
and he's back to his antics on the sidelines too. By the way, I didn't see some of it. I didn't see some of it till watching the 15-minute game.
Well, that's why it was funny that he was trying to hold back Jalen Carter. Meanwhile, he's the one that's still doing it.
He's starting to slip into old habits.
All right, so it's one thing for us to say,
okay,
and you go into the locker room and you may have a feel on things. What about a former player? A former player would be able to speak a little bit more about whether or not a message may run dry at some point when you constantly hear that it's my fault, it starts with me, I'll do it, I got to do better, blah, blah, blah. Here's Teddy Bruschi, who played for one of, if not the greatest coaches of all time in the history of the National Football League, and Bill Belichick. Here's Teddy Bruschi talking about Nick Sirianni always taking the blame.
Especially to professional athletes. I think what he said about everything's on me, it's all on me, that's good for high school football, really, when you're protecting kids. But as a professional, sometimes it's on me. And I know it's on me, and I don't need you protecting me. So treat me like a man. There's a little bit of that there. He seems awkward a lot of times when I watch him and I hear him. And to be in a meeting room, I can imagine on Wednesday, I mean, the core four, okay, let's go back. The core four of this team, all right, it was Fletcher,
Kelsey, that group, yeah.
Graham, those guys, all right? They're starting to get old and thin out, and leadership eventually transitions, okay? Transitions to where certain players have to pick it up. And if they don't pick up that leadership and you're continually watching an awkward head coach continually speak in front of you, you lose guys.
So,
I mean,
when does that happen?
He's as awkward as it comes.
Who, Teddy Bruschi?
No.
Oh.
No.
I don't know.
No, I got into an argument with Teddy once. I'll tell you about a fun thing just as far as his coming back after his strokes. He was just like, how can you have an opinion on that? But it was a really interesting conversation. But he set me straight. And but he's a guy who shares it. I think I don't think you can get more awkward than Nick Sirianni. Like Rob Thompson covers for everybody, his players coach, everything like that. Rob Thompson is so comfortable and so cool.
Yeah.
So who he is, because he's just who he is. And people say all the time, well, it's, he's just being who he is. Nick Sirianni, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that he is.
Yeah.
He's forced. Everything seems very forced.
Yeah, and always, it does seem forced. When he was talking about Jalen Hurts' interception, that's my fault.
And did you hear Zach Berman ask him?
Yes. He did. It was actually a great question.
It was great because it's such a BS answer.
Yeah.
It's
and Nick even said,
it's such an absurd thing.
Me. He basically said, you got me.
Yeah, it was so dumb. And
if when Jalen Hurts fumbled last week, is that Nick Sirianni's fault? No, it's not.
No.
And you can't do the whole, well, I got to put him in a better position. No, dude, that's not your fault.
Yeah, there's no reason for that. And why would you be covering like that or trying to do that? You're trying to pander.
Well,
You're
honestly,
pandering.
dude, the way he talked about Hurts.
Oh, my gosh.
Can you get it from Sunday? It's great. Look.
It's great.
I like when my coach and quarterback have a good relationship, but when it's been reported that you haven't had a good relationship, he's a winner clip, Connor. When they haven't had a good relationship and it's been reported on, sometimes when he talks about Jalen Hurts, it doesn't seem natural. So what you just said,
because he's forcing it.
It sounds forced. Here he is talking about Jalen Hurts, the winner, following the Eagles' win on Sunday.
This guy is a freaking winner. He won at Alabama. He won at Oklahoma. He won. He's been he's been winning here over and over and over and over. And you know what? We're the Philadelphia Eagles, so we understand we're going to get criticism. But this dude's a freaking winner. Jalen Hurts is a winner. And he won today.
You know what?
And I'm sure he was emotional after a win. It was a tough fought battle. I get it,
dude.
But it just seems forced, man.
Oh, you kidding? Forced? That was incredible to me. That was just. That is like, can I pick up your dry cleaning?
Yeah.
That was. I think that was embarrassing.
All right,
myself.
How about some real human answers? So Fred Johnson. Again, kudos to that guy.
By the way, who I hardly knew anything. I'm reading about him yesterday.
Yeah. So he steps in because of Lane Johnson's injury. He goes out with the concussion, and Fred Johnson has to play right tackle. And remember, was Driscoll the swing tackle last year? And he was horrible. Jack Driscoll was really bad, and you're not expecting many swing tackles to be great. So Fred Johnson comes in here, and he has not started in a game since 2021, and that was one game with the Cincinnati Bengals. So since then, he's been he's rebuilding, special teams guy, has to come in every once in a while if somebody's banged up a little bit, but he has not really played meaningful snaps since 2021. Take a listen to this human response to him playing well. And what was really cool is it wasn't about himself. It was about Saquon Barkley scoring a touchdown. Take a listen.
I was just saying, it's been a long time since I played ball, bro. It's been, 3 years? I don't know. Y'all go look at the stats. 3 solid years. I played real snaps since 2020, 2021, something like that. 3 or 4 years. I was like, after that touchdown with Saquon, I almost cried on the sideline. I ain't gonna lie. I got emotional. I got real emotional because I thought I'd never be back, like, in action. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, everybody know some of my story, and it's just been a long time coming. And when I seen him running and score, like, I got hype. I got real hype. And then, I was just grateful for the moment. Back out and do it again.
I love that, man. That was a very human, when I saw him score,
awesome.
I almost cried. I haven't played real snaps in a long time. And Andrew Pacheco, we had him on yesterday. He was talking about how he's got an incredible story. I would like to read up more on Fred Johnson's story, but that's that was human. That you hear the difference between that one and Nick Sirianni see's forced. That was just
it's completely forced.
Man, I almost cried. That was awesome.
No,
I
that's
love that.
great. And I'm telling you, it's a great story, and it's a Stoutland U story.
Damn right it is. All right, coming up next, we get to your text messages on today's topics. And you told us something before the show, John, that apparently John Brazier gave you something that will make
It will blow both of your minds.
Can't wait.
About baseball and all of our listening audience.
All right, well, we'll hear it coming up next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Bill Colarulo.
There was a lot to like about Jake.
6 on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Let's give away another pair of another 4-pack, excuse me. Another 4-pack of Temple tickets on this Temple Tuesday for Thursday's game against Army. Caller number 1-215-263-0975. Don't miss a primetime college football showdown when the Owls battle Army this Thursday at 7:30. At the link for tickets, visit owlstix.com. Caller number 1-215-263-0975. We will have 3 more to give away as the show continues.
Andy Reid will be watching.
I'm sure he will be.
He might be
he's probably
scouting players.
Somebody, man. All right, so before we get back to the text line, you told us you have something that will blow our mind.
Yeah, John Brazier, fine director of fun and games for the Philadelphia Phillies.
He's amazing.
Had this number, and he wanted me to share it with you boys today. Okay, I'm going to give you a number, and I want you to tell me what it means, and you both got to put your hands in the air, because I want to make sure you're not looking anything up. So, Connor, I need to see your hands in the air.
Wave them just like
okay.
Just on the text line, nothing.
The San Diego Padres are striking out 17.4% of the time this year. Can you tell me why is that a big number? 17.4% of the time this year, the Padres are striking out. Can you tell me sort of an idea about why that's a huge number?
My guess is that's one of the highest in the National League.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'd be at. Is that the highest for a season ever?
This is what's going to blow your mind. In 2024, the San Diego Padres are striking out 17.4% of the time.
I don't really know if that's a high statistic. In complete honesty, I don't know.
It's the lowest rate of any team in 7 seasons.
Huh.
Well, I'll tell you.
In 7 seasons, striking out 17.4% of the time for the Padres right now, going into tonight's game, is the lowest rate of any team in 7 seasons. Here's a good one, though. 40 years ago, just tell you how baseball changes. The 1984 Phillies had the highest strikeout rate in Major League Baseball at 17.3%.
Wow.
So in 40 years, the worst team at striking out in 1984
now the best
is the best team in 2024. Because immediately I heard 17.4 from Brazier, and I said, are they the worst team in baseball at striking out? No, they're the best team.
Oh, there's probably a team that's close to a quarter of the time.
And they're the best team in 7 seasons.
Now, I'll tell you one of the reasons why is they have a guy in that batting in that order that will not strike out, in Luis Ariz. He doesn't strike out. I'm going to guess
they've had him for a little while.
This year they acquired.
Right? Yeah.
It was like a month into the season. When
it was early.
They got him April, May. Yeah, May.
Let's see. He has played 112 games.
That's a lot. Yeah.
How many times do you think he struck out this in 112 games with the San Diego Padres?
7.
504 plate appearances.
7.
I'd say like 19.
Connor, you're closer, but John, you have the number in there. It's 17. Yeah.
Well, Connor's much closer.
But yeah, I mean that guy's only struck out 17 times. I mean that's just.
But
he hits 323 and doesn't strike out.
But to think that striking out 17.4% of the time makes you the best team in baseball and the best team in 7 seasons tells you how far analytics has destroyed the freaking game.
Oh, yeah, it was strikeouts.
It's destroyed the game.
I don't know that it's totally analytics. There's a dude that's closing for the Minnesota Twins right now, and Yohan Duran, that throws 103 mile an hour like splitter. They didn't have
pitching can be better.
They didn't have those pitches in '84. Now, I'm not saying like they didn't have guys that threw hard, because some guys did, but pitching has vastly improved, and the home run has become dramatically more valued.
Well,
I don't believe that pitching is vastly
run,
improved.
You're not choking up with 2 strikes. You're still swinging, and that's what's leading to more strikeouts.
And that part can be pointed towards analytics in a way, but there's also more guys throwing 100+.
I think velocity is improved. I do not think pitching is improved.
Now, here's another big one. So the Padres have 3 guys that have struck out 100 times, and Jurickson Profar is 4 away. Fernando Tatis Jr., who only played 97 games, is 9 away. So they could end up finishing with 4, maybe 5 guys that struck out 100 times this year. The Phillies right now have 4. Could maybe have 5 guys that strike out 100 times. But Schwarber has 191, whereas Manny Machado has the most for the Padres at 120.
How many,
so that's another big
by
part
the way,
of
how
it.
many does Casty have? Because
126 or something?
136.
Because I think he was trending. There was a time in the season where he was trending for more strikeouts this year than last year. And he has just been fantastic.
Yeah, he's been great.
I don't know
he
what
finished last year with 185. He only has 136.
He was trending at a time this year to have more. Look at what he's done.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, dude, 2 months in, people wanted him in Lehigh Valley or the
It's
moon.
unbelievable.
And
I just said only 136 strikeouts.
No, but I mean,
That goes back to what you're saying.
it just goes to
It's
show you.
changed
Say,
so
now we
much.
look at it as, yeah, it's good.
the times they are changing.
It is, man. All right, so what do we got on the text line there, Connor?
We have people checking in on that conversation with Nick Sirianni and the play calling and Kellen Moore.
Yeah, I would like to talk more about that at 610-632-0975. Like, when you hear Nick Sirianni saying that he's calling plays now,
Yeah.
what's your reaction to that?
So a first-time texter says, I think Sirianni is making the call on going for it on fourth or not going for it. Kellen Moore is making the call for the play based on those decisions. I don't think that Nick Sirianni is making the actual play call. I know we had that conversation.
He said yesterday he changed the play call. He changed the play call and went with the.
Can you play that clip again? I think it's Sirianni cut 9. And we'll talk to Jeff McClain about it at 8:10.
Right.
And oh, by the way, Kellen Moore speaks today to the media, so we might get more insight on it. But here's Nick Sirianni yesterday talking about how he called some plays.
I wanted you guys to know yesterday that in that scenario, with a questionable call there, that I made that decision, right? And so that's why I let you guys in on that, because Kellen didn't need to bear that because I did that. And so that's why I brought you in on that yesterday, not to open the door of, well, how many times you call this or how many times you call that or how many times is this, it's collaborative. And in that particular case, I called that one and it didn't work. And when that happens, I will always make sure that you guys know about that.
So I take that as he called the play.
That's definitely what it sounds
because
like.
let's face it, Kellen Moore has no say on fourth down decision. It's the head coach's
Which is crazy to me.
So when he's saying, I called it, not Kellen, Kellen's not calling whether or not they're going for it on fourth down. It's Nick Sirianni's call. I think they're talking about the play itself.
But here's what I would say, too. Yeah, I mean, Nick Sirianni makes the decision whether to go for it. But I would think this is Kellen Moore's offense. Nick Sirianni should be the guy that says, we're going for it on fourth down. Kellen, what's your call? What's your best play? What is your best play? Instead, Nick Sirianni is saying, no, we're going to go for it on fourth down, and I'll make the call.
We'll talk to Jeff McClain.
That's something that is unacceptable.
Jeff joins us at 8:10. We'll find out. Was this always a part of the plan? Or are maybe other people surprised? Maybe inside NovaCare that are surprised. By the way, JG on Twitter, I love you, man. Leave Nick alone. No. Why? Why?
What?
I get it, because you're an Eagles fan. But, why?
Why?
Nick Sirianni now made bad decisions in 3 games, and you legitimately could be 1-2 because of him. They're lucky that Saquon Barkley and Dallas Goedert put the team on their backs and the defense. Nick Sirianni could literally be the reason why you're 1-2 right now. Why should we leave the head coach alone when we have Super Bowl expectations? It's Kincade and Salciunas. We also have today's headlines with Connor Thomas next, right here, 97.5 The Fanatic. Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on this Tuesday morning. Jeff McClain will be joining us coming up at 8:10, as he does each and every Tuesday.
Love our man Andrew Ellis. But
Yes.
he's like, do you guys plan to talk about anything else today? Or is this going to be just run Nick out of town? I don't even like him, but hey, the Phillies won the division, and there are other topics. We get it. You hate him. I said, look, dude. I said, you
Can't listen
obviously
every second.
we've
I get
talked.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've talked a lot of Phillies today, and we will continue to as they won the division.
We opened the show talking
I'm like,
Phillies.
Seriously.
I know, they can't listen to every
Can we?
second.
Yeah, but the thing is, then don't talk that you guys are not talking about anything else. We talked a ton of Phillies today, and we will continue to.
Yes.
As Red
and
October.
we literally
and we
asked,
appreciate you.
We asked a question for the Phillies fans
But
that
seriously.
did not enjoy the season. I want you to be real with us. Do you look back at it and regret the mentality that you had pretty much all season?
I really do, and I wrote about it before. I think that too many in this town are obsessed with being the underdog. And they love the underdog masks, and nobody believes in us, and nobody counts. I love it when my team is a monster.
But then,
I love it when my team is a monster with high expectations.
well, but
that's the best.
Here's where it's weird. It's almost a contradiction. Like,
What do you mean?
they want to be the underdog, but when the team's good, they try to find ways to tear them down. So they themselves they're the ones that are making the Phillies the underdog, not the national media, not us. We've been talking about the Phillies being the best team in baseball since the start of the year. So
And-
if they want to be the underdogs, they're the ones that are making it out to be like they're underdogs.
I don't understand that fan mentality. I just don't. I want my team to be monsters. You know why? Because all the teams that I hated, except for the Mets, all the teams that I hated, and honestly Dallas, are the teams that just put together, like they hate the Patriots. I respect the hell out of what the Patriots accomplished with Tom Brady, but I damn well hate them. Hate them.
Yeah, of course.
And it's just but a lot of it is envy.
Yeah.
I want people envying us. And until this Phillies run that we've been on now 3 consecutive years is cemented with a world championship, it will be looked upon as, it was really nice. But
it was nice, but they
didn't
missed
cash
out on
it in.
opportunities.
Didn't
Yep.
cash it in.
All right, let's go to Vin in Malvern. Vin, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
What's up,
guys, how
Vin?
you doing?
Good,
What's
buddy.
up, man?
Hey, Andrew, do you remember me?
Vin, what's up, brother? I used to see you at that Chickies every Friday, man. It's good to hear from you.
Man. It's been ages. I'm driving up to North Jersey and listening to you guys. I don't get a chance that often, but so nice to hear you guys. I just want to give a couple of props before I turn to Nick Sirianni, but one to the Phillies team. I didn't realize that this was the first NL East crown in like 13 years.
13 years, man. 2011 was the last time they won the division, the NL East.
That's pretty insane. I mean, all the success we've had recently, we forget that Braves have been even better, and so this is even more sweeter. So that's one. The second thing is Saquon Barkley, man. What a great addition he's been, and he's just shown that he's taken over the games. And all 3 games potentially we would have won. The second catch that he dropped would have been because of him, and it's just unbelievable. I read one stat somewhere that in 6 years Saquon was with the Giants, he never had a single Pro Bowl offensive lineman. And that kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, and he had a quarterback. Like, look, I know Jalen Hurts has a turnover issue, but he had a quarterback that was horrible. So
horrible.
You put 8 in the box, right? It was like, all right, go ahead, Saquon, try to beat us. And he still had successful seasons in New York without an offensive line, without a quarterback. And, oh, by the way, even not that I'm making excuses for Daniel Jones, and thanks for the call, Vin. Great hearing from you.
Please don't make excuses.
He had no weapons to throw to. Like, it was literally just Saquon Barkley. And he was still rushing for over 1,000 yards. So he's now here in Philadelphia with a top 5 offensive line, with an arguably top 10 quarterback, with great wide receivers that defenses have to scheme against. That's only going to make him even more dangerous. But even I and you and Connor and everybody that was excited for Saquon Barkley, we didn't expect this.
I mean, 351 yards, leading the NFL in rushing through 3 weeks. I honestly did not think he would lead the NFL in rushing, because I expected him to be a bigger asset in the passing game, which we haven't seen yet.
Right.
Now I have a feeling we're going to see it this Sunday.
Yeah,
And
might
better.
have to.
Might be a necessity. But to me, the 351 is an eye-popping number.
I thought, if I said to you going into the season, hey, we'll see 3 or 4 Saquon Barkley games, you'll probably go, all right, I see it. But 3 to start the year.
I think I said 1,200 yards rushing and like 600 receiving, something like that. I was expecting.
He's on pace for what, 1,900?
Yeah, he's on almost 2,000 yards. He's on pace for it.
That's not going to happen.
That's a lot
but
to do.
He's on pace for it.
And by the way, even all the Jalen Hurts stuff that we've had, Jalen Hurts is fourth in passing yardage.
Yeah.
And he is just under the pace of the 4,500 yards that I was talking about.
What you're looking for.
And he has a lot of the weaker teams on his schedule, even though now we may know about Washington. Might not be as easy as we thought.
We'll see. All right, coming up at 8:10, Jeff McClain, but it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Hi, Connor.
Hi, boys.
Hello, Connor.
I don't know if you guys caught this last night. This is a little bit of a off-the-beaten-path story, but the Philadelphia Phillies won the National League East championship.
An interesting
last
story.
night.
It's the first time we've talked about it.
We
Division
never
title.
talk about it. We just talk about Nick Serani getting fired.
Figured I'd bring it up. But John Middleton brought something up, a quote that we've known him for a while here, something he clearly said to the team earlier this season, and something that he reiterated to the locker room last night. Here's what the owner had to say to his team.
I brought John in here. John, come on over here. Remember in spring training, the man said he wants his trophy. We're going to get it.
He wants his bleeping trophy back.
Yep.
Your guys' thoughts?
He's a great owner.
He's doing look.
He's a great owner.
What more could you ask of him to do? To try to put you in a position to have a parade.
We've talked about this numerous times. Philadelphia has great ownership. John Middleton is a great owner. Jeffrey Lurie is a great owner. I like the direction with Dan Hilferty and Comcast.
I do.
I like this current regime of Comcast.
Current iteration.
And I do believe that Josh Harris gets a completely bad rep in the city, and I don't know why.
Explain.
He cuts the check for everything. It's not like he's not like Jerry Jones who's meddling, right?
Could you say he's absentee?
Do you need him to?
I sort of like it. I like the fact that John Middleton's right there knee deep in the champagne last night. I like it that Jeffrey Lurie is.
Josh Harris is on. I see him on the side court side all the time.
Yeah, but he's at the Devils and he's at the Commanders and he's at the thing, and that does bother me.
Has his ownership with the Devils and the Commanders affected in any way how he's cut the check for the Sixers?
Cutting the check? No.
There are better owners out there for sure. But there are certainly more worse, and he's on the positive side.
I think he gets hate in this city.
Great,
and I don't know why.
I don't think that many people could even tell you anything about him. Like I don't think he gets.
No,
a lot
I think there's
of
a
hate.
lot of people like you that don't like his ties with the.
Well, I don't think he has an association with us. I like.
Check,
I
man.
like my. Yeah,
and that's all I need from my owner.
There's going to be people. I disagree with that. I like an owner that is. What do we like Middleton for? What do we like the fact the way they go?
Okay, just because he's there in the locker room, but Middleton.
No, it's because he's associated with the city, with the team. He's knee deep in it. He cares about it. Josh Harris is a mercenary.
All right.
He doesn't care about anything more than bottom line.
But then this is what I care about. So John Middleton goes, I need the best GM for my team. I got Dave Dombrowski. Josh Harris goes, I need the best GM or president of basketball operations for my team. I'm going to go get Daryl Morey. He's the highest paid, one of the higher paid president of basketball operations in the league. Man, I need to go get free agents to go around Bryce Harper. He gets Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber. That's what John Middleton does. How about the Sixers? Well, Paul George, we're going to give Tyrese Maxey the max contract. There's no question about the Sixers whether or not they're cheap. They're not. And that's what I appreciate.
I don't think it's about being cheap. I just think it's not.
There are some teams that are.
I don't think he's connected with the organization on a day-to-day basis. I don't think he cares. I don't think he lives, eats, breathes whether us Philly fans get a parade. Where John Middleton does.
Okay.
John
and that's
Middleton.
fair. Look,
Dan Hilferty, by the way, Dan Hilferty.
He's a Flyers fan.
A Delco guy.
Yeah. All right, they might be more emotionally invested, but I don't think Josh Harris does anything where it's like, man, he doesn't care about.
And there's a negative good. I don't
still
like
a lot of owners in the NBA and all of sports.
Yeah. I like an owner who's more connected.
All right. You could have like the Marlins ownership group that goes, we're not going to pay money.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the money. Again, it's the connection.
Okay.
He doesn't care. He's just as worried about the Devils winning and worried about the Commanders winning.
Well, I do celebrate John Middleton for being in there yesterday. I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm sure that's cool for the players as well. All right, join us now on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. From the Philadelphia Inquirer, Inquirer.com, Jeff McClain joins us. Jeff, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, guys. How are you?
I want to first just give you the floor, get your reaction to Sunday. It's been a strange, 6 hours of radio for us, the 4-hour show yesterday, 2 hours today. Obviously celebrating the win, but there were a lot of things that also didn't look great for the Eagles. So would first love to get your overall reaction to the Eagles' Week 3 win over the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you go on the road and win a game against a team that's 2-0 and they came in with the top offense in the NFL, you got to be happy with exiting with a victory. Now, it's early in the season. I didn't think the Saints were quite as good their record, or at least this disparity in the amount of points that they had scored versus the teams that they had played. And I don't think the Eagles were probably as poor as they had looked against the Falcons. So, team's probably a little closer than maybe it looked like on paper. But, the most impressive takeaway is just the performance of the defense. They were, as you would hope they would play, considering what they have invested up front. And, some of the stuff the Saints did, I think, played to their advantage. I was a little surprised that the Saints didn't try and run at them more in 4-down sets, but get them into those looks. But Vic Fangio also made some changes in terms of personnel, in terms of scheme. And, the guy brought it and really did a good job against what was, an explosive offense and one that really had played well in terms of the run game.
Jeff, after what you've seen from the Eagles on Sunday in New Orleans, what do you think is the most sustainable takeaway you have from that defense that you think is absolute reality and they have a chance to build on it?
Well, yeah, Jalen Carter is the guy that I would focus on. I mean, he has the most talent of anybody on that side of the ball. He has the ability to wreck a game, and he did that. As a run defender, as a pass rusher, the guy, one-on-one can be almost virtually unblockable. So, that was a real positive because in those first two games, it seems like, he had his moments. He was getting doubled a lot. He had a tough assignment in Chris Lindstrom in the second game. So I think there were reasons why he wasn't performing as the Eagles had hoped he would. And, he certainly benefited, once the center, when Eric Coy went down, I think on the third snap of the game. The Saints also lost another offensive lineman. So the Eagles, of course, lost two offensive linemen themselves. But, I think you can build off Carter and build your defense around him. Jordan Davis played solidly as well, more like you'd like to see him play against the run, even had a sack. Came off a stunt, wasn't exactly something that, he did on his own. And I still have concerns about him as a pass rusher. But I think the Carter thing, and I think that Vic was, being able to kind of change his scheme. I mean, what they did essentially was they got Bryce off the field more on run downs and used a little more Milton Williams and other defensive tackles on, as edge defenders in certain looks, and you got more snaps for Brandon Graham. But, to answer your question, I don't know if some of that is sustainable.
Jeff, is Nick Sirianni more involved with play calling than we originally expected?
No, I mean, Kellen Moore's calling the offense. And Nick offered up about the 4th and 1 because I guess he wanted to take a little of the heat off of Kellen. But that's, head coaches do that all the time. John Harbaugh doesn't call plays on either side. He'll interject, certainly when it comes to 4th downs. That's what a head coach does, right? It ultimately comes down to him. It's his decisions because he's the head coach, and he decided to hire Kellen Moore and give him the offense. Of course, he's probably pushed into doing that, but that's how this dynamic is set up. And if he feels fit at certain times to jump in and make calls, that's his right. Did he make the right call there? I don't think so, but that's another story.
Jeff, I'm going to editorialize a little, not you. That he appeared extremely defensive with you yesterday in that line of questioning during the press conference. And in all the years I've been doing this job, I've seen a lot of coaches go down that road. It usually doesn't end well. Are you seeing a different Nick Sirianni this year, or is in the press conference situations, or does it pretty much seem like the guy you've gotten used to working with?
Well, I thought Nick was really good last week in explaining his 4th down decisions. He went in great detail. Maybe a little bit too much, but because sometimes you can kind of get lost in all the words. But it was appreciated, right? He at least brought us into his thought process about why he made those decisions, and said he was still convicted in those decisions. Now, the analytics and some of them will say that he didn't make the right choices, and I get that the analytics aren't black and white. There's a gut thing that is involved in making those types of decisions. But he went to kind of the opposite direction this week, which again is right. I guess he feels like every week he doesn't have to explain all these decisions down to the finest detail. But I think certain ones needed to be explained, and I think that one, and the other ones, I think you can kind of defend them a little bit. That one before the half was extremely questionable. Not because of the play call, and you can argue either way on that one. My thing was that they have run tush push fakes off tush pushes before. But that was only after it had been widely successful And this year it hasn't really quite been that successful. So to think that a team would normally think, the percentages of them going for it there versus a tush push, I didn't think that was the right time to call a fake. But the bigger question is, why go for it there? I think it was 14 seconds left when you ran the play. It was, when he got stopped, there was 10 seconds left. I mean, realistically, you have one shot to the end zone, and then you have to get out on the field. You'd have to use it last time out there. You have one shot to the end zone.
Yeah, and if you get sacked or stopped short, the clock, you're not going to get that field goal.
There's a lot of things that could go wrong there. And then he's saying he had 2 plays. I guess if he's saying 2 plays, he's including the field goal. But even then, you're just basically doing what you could have done on 4th down, which is kick the field goal. So why make that risk? So I don't understand that thinking. And he really, quite frankly, never answered the question about whether he, in retrospect, that was something he would have done or not done.
We know that Britton Covey's out. You can't really give us an update on Devontae Smith because it's concussion protocol. Any chance A.J. Brown plays on Sunday? And if not, and if Devontae is out and we already know Covey's out, what do they do at receiver?
Yeah. I think A.J. Brown's probably going to try and give it at least a go in practice this week. Just a little more reporting on that. But, he's got obstacles to clear before he can play on Sunday. But I think at least there's a chance. Last week there was no chance. But yeah, if you're down those 2 guys, this is what a lot of people were pointing out in the offseason, is that, who's the 3rd receiver? Now, they went and got Jahan Dotson, but he hasn't really done much. It's taking a while to get him kind of involved in the offense, or at least get him on the same page with Jalen Hurts, and that's understandable, but that's what happens when you wait until the last minute to bring in a guy that doesn't know the offense that well. So it's going to be Dotson. Covey's definitely going to be out. Johnny Wilson's another one that they're going to have to rely on. Paris Campbell, could see them sign somebody for the week. And then you have, thankfully they still have Dallas Goedert, and we saw, what happens when you throw the ball at him a lot. Grant Calcaterra has been a little more effective as a receiver, so they're going to have to, do different things. But, all that being said, too, they also have a guy called Saquon Barkley.
I got to tell you that it's going to be a fun one to watch. The bye week, when we saw it early in the year being week 5, I thought, boy, that's terrible. And right now I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the injuries certainly, if they can get to 3-1 into the bye, I mean, you're feeling pretty good. 2-2, obviously not as good. But, yeah, they are banged up a little bit. The concussions are going to hurt them probably this week. Lane and Devontae, again, it's hard to kind of put a measurement on the concussions, but none of them look good.
Jeff, listen, man, we appreciate it as always. We can't wait to talk to you again next week. Enjoy your travels down to Tampa Bay, and hopefully the Eagles can get another win. And I think your job's been fun so far. The Eagles are 2-1, and there's been plenty to talk about and write about when it comes to this football team.
Well, that seems to always be the case. So thanks, guys.
You're the man, Jeff. There he is, Jeff McClain on the Comcast Business Hotline from the Inquirer, Inquirer.com.
So I think we cleared it up, Connor. I think we cleared it up. He called the play. He called. Yeah. He called. He's calling plays. He's not only telling Kellen Moore what he's going to do. He's telling Kellen Moore the play that they're. Bothers the hell out of me.
Yeah, I
feel worse.
I want him in the broom closet. I want him in the broom closet.
I feel worse.
Well, screw the broom closet.
No. I'm totally fine with Nick Sirianni saying, "Let's go for it."
Yeah,
but
don't call the play.
Kellen, what's the call?
Yeah,
but if he can't hold himself back from that, get him out of here. I'm sorry, get him out of here.
I don't blame you.
It's fair
and
to say.
I should have seen it coming.
All right, coming up next. The second opinion. We do this a day after, 2 days after every Eagles game.
Got a good one.
You got a good one for us. All right, so we do our second opinion segment about the Eagles game. And, of course, your texts and calls at 610-632-0975 about the Eagles and the Fighting Phils, your NL East champions. We'll be right back. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
2 on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on a Tuesday morning, which means following an Eagles game, after we get an extra night of sleep, and after we're very emotional the Monday morning after a game, especially myself, it's the perfect time for our second opinion segment.
You might not always agree with what you hear. Sometimes you need a second opinion. Brought to you by the consultants in medical oncology and hematology.
All right, I kind of want to get
They saved my life, by the way.
Oh, damn right. Talk more about it.
I'll tell you more about it coming up. They saved my life, though.
I want to get mine out of the way because I actually want to kind of lead this into a discussion later on in the show.
Okay.
I was thinking about this. I wonder if there's a way the Eagles can make Jalen Hurts' life as easy as possible. Because when he gets the ball out quick and has to get the ball out quick, he's usually on point. It's when he has to look downfield and think and make a decision when it gets intercepted. Or he then rolls to his left or rolls to his right. When he gets the ball out quick, I think he's an effective quarterback. When he can rely on his running game, John, I'm wondering if this should start turning into a little bit more of a run-first offense. Saquon Barkley's playing like a madman, so it's not like you're handing... It's not like I'm saying you do that with Kenneth Gainwell and DeAndre Swift. I'm saying you do that with Saquon Barkley, who's one of the best running backs in the NFL, which will then create easier throws for Jalen Hurts with his tight ends and his wide receivers when they come back. Now, is this part of it a product of A.J. Brown being out? Probably it is. But I wonder if there's a way they can make his life a little bit easier and not ask Jalen Hurts to do too much. And it goes back to that game manager conversation we've had in the past.
If the turnovers and everything were a product of him, I think, being asked to do too much, I think I'd agree with the premise. I don't see them.
I'm not saying do too much.
Like, I mean, he's turning the ball over, doing stupid stuff.
Well, yeah, it's
like
when
the
play continues.
Running with the ball and like just not protecting the ball and misfiring on passes or throwing them a little bit late, and I don't really the pass in the end zone. You just hold the ball.
Yeah,
you just don't.
Like you have incredible receivers when healthy that can run great routes. I think to the Rams, right? And I know Stafford's missing both Nakua and Kupp, but he's got two great shifty route runners. He don't have to run a lot of gadget plays for him.
No.
He can throw things underneath to two guys that can get open and then make guys miss. And then Matt Stafford can throw a 3-yard pass, but it turned into a 20-yard gain. You have that kind of talent around you. Why can't you try to, I don't want to say dumb it down because I don't want to be disrespectful, but why can't you kind of get these guys in motion, which gets them in space, which is what Kellen Moore has been celebrated for on this show and in his career as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. Keep it simple, man. Instead of going for chunk plays downfield, keep it simple. Jalen Hurts is good at those decisions. He doesn't turn the football over on those decisions.
Not a bad thought.
It's something I've thought about.
I think it's time. Watching the Georgia Dogs play on Sunday, and I'm talking about Davis, I'm talking about Carter, and I'm talking about Dean. I actually am annoyed. Yesterday, I was praising them all.
Okay.
And I'm actually annoyed. Watching the 15-minute game yesterday. Where the hell has it been? Why can't it be a consistent performance? And I speak more to Jordan Davis and I think to Nakobe Dean, and Jalen Carter needs to dial it. Jalen Carter can't be the monster that he was on Sunday. An absolute beast. They were on NFL Network and ESPN. They're both on. The best defensive performance of the weekend was his taking over of that game. Where the hell was that the week before? You can't be anonymous one week and dominant the next.
See, I would have more of a...
I'm driven crazy by it.
I would have more of a problem if he was anonymous next week.
No, I got you.
It's one thing to have a slow start and then get really good.
A slow start for him
shouldn't happen.
Should be an average day for somebody else.
Yeah, I remember we played that clip from Tim McManus where he said, screw that, let's go. It's like no more excuse.
Like, I don't want any... And for Jordan Davis... That's exactly how he's played the beginning of the last couple seasons. I need to see this, and I don't know what the slow start was about, but I have no time for it. The training wheels are off. Davis and Dean. Training wheels are off. Let's perform, boys.
All right, I like that one. Connor,
I don't think Jalen Hurts has been bad. And coming out of that game, I really felt like he has had an underwhelming start to this season. But there have been things he's done really, really well. And I know it's crazy to say, like, outside of the turnovers, he's been an awesome quarterback. Those are an issue. I just, I kind of balked a little bit at John saying you can absolutely fix Jalen Hurts. I'm not worried about the turnovers. I'm more on your side today, Johnny. I see him putting this offense in position to succeed, and he might be the one taking them out of it sometimes. Sirianni might be the one taking out of it sometimes, but at the end of the day, is this team good enough with Jalen Hurts at quarterback? I haven't seen anything this year to tell me that they can't be. There are some things to clean up.
Dude, he is definitely good enough. And it's funny
some people question that right now.
Right, you're right. And it's funny that you say that. I was thinking about literally what you just said off air yesterday when I was at my house. I have a lot of free time with, color this, color that, draw this, draw that.
Right.
So I basically have...
Christy has to stop asking you to do those things.
I basically have... Kincade Salciunas continues. It's just the Salciunas portion of it at my house. Maybe I'll give you a call one time. I was thinking about what you just said. Statistically, Jalen Hurts, again, if you take away the turnovers, has been pretty good this year.
You can't say that with a quarterback.
Take away the turnovers. Like, name me a quarterback. There's been 3 games now he's averaging 2 turnovers a game. Name me a quarterback that averaged 2 turnovers a game during the playoffs and won something.
And he's judged on that standard of just the fact that you say, like, well, other than the turnovers, nobody's judged on that standard that is an elite quarterback or one of the better quarterbacks in football.
Right, you can't
stop
do that.
doing it for Jalen Hurts.
I hear what you're saying, because if he could tweak maybe one thing, and that's why my second opinion was if you just maybe a lot of those 311 yards weren't big plays downfield. It was a dump off to Dallas Goedert, who was wide open and ran 65 yards.
Right. But
right, like a fifth of his passing yards came on one play. You could probably do more of that, and it takes away the turnovers, and then it goes to your point.
Yeah, my argument is just he's not far away from where we need him to be. And there are points Sunday where it felt like he was very far away. But in totality, his performance this year has been encouraging if you look at it that way.
My biggest problem, and we'll hit the sponsor in a second. My biggest problem to that point is if he never had a turnover issue, and it's just been a rough start to the season, I'll go, yeah, dude, he'll be fine. Because he was a turnover machine last year and it has now continued into this season, I can't say that just yet.
I got you.
Like we say the same thing about Trevor Lawrence. We say the same thing about a lot of quarterbacks. Now, and again, there's only one Patrick Mahomes. So, like,
the only rough start to the season with him, though, is the turnovers.
Yeah, that's it.
So, I mean...
But it's a huge thing. You can't keep giving the other team the football. I mean, it's very simple.
And how many of them were forced turnovers where the guy goes and makes a great play? That's all you got to ask.
Right.
Not true. So, I mean, Jalen's got to clean that up.
He does.
I do think the Tyrann Mathieu play was a great...
It was a good play, but it was an unnecessary throw.
It was an unnecessary throw.
Totally
and he had time, and it's just watch from the different angles. He had time to decipher that and to just... And he, by the way, the biggest crime of it was Dotson's wide open.
Yeah, he was.
For a first down, wide open. You take the easy play.
Bigger.
He went for the hero
because
ball.
They weren't scoring points, and he realizes I got to try to get a touchdown.
And that's a bad decision. But, Johnny, you got a good decision for us?
Yeah, well, I said I could tell you this. If you get a cancer diagnosis, you, a family member or otherwise, check out the consultants in medical oncology and hematology, cmoh.org. I can tell you that these doctors, nurses, and the entire staff, they saved my life. And they can save yours, too. They are the best. Give them a chance to win your business. And it sounds weird, but saving your life, it is business. Yeah. And make sure these guys take care of business, and I love them all.
Well, you know what? I'd rather have my life saved than not. So
I would, too. I think in retrospect, I think it was very great.
All right, coming up next, we'll get to your text messages and your phone calls on today's topics. Here's what we started off with. What have we learned through the first 3 weeks about the Philadelphia Eagles? That's our Eagles question. Our Phillies open-ended discussion about them winning the NL East. But for the people out there that were always negative or over the top with your criticism of the Phillies, when last night happened, does part of you regret how you were all season? Like, this didn't just start. When the Phillies were the best team in baseball, people were still saying negative things. Does part of you regret it and realize, damn, I missed out on having a lot of fun this year? Answer that question for us. 610-632-0975. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a bird.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on this it is a beautiful Tuesday morning. Last Tuesday was rainy. It is a nice Tuesday morning.
Now, I had the windshield wipers all the way to work today.
I did not.
Was it from the champagne from last night?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but and last night coming home from the game, pouring.
Yeah, it was raining yesterday.
It was raining bad.
Area.
I had the windshield wipers though today. Not like more of the annoyance. The annoyance windshield wiper, where it's that very last one.
Yeah,
setting where it just goes. Then it gives you like 20 seconds and then wipes it again.
And then if it's dry, it makes that noise, that squeaky noise.
Last night it was really raining.
Okay.
So hopefully tonight will be a little bit
I don't
better.
like that slow setting either.
I don't like the intermittent. It drives me crazy.
I prefer it to rain a little bit harder.
Yes. I don't want because I will end up just turning it on and off.
Yeah, exactly.
Which drives my wife nuts. She goes, "You don't have to do that, you know." I said, "Oh, wait a minute. I haven't driven before. What is this?"
Dude, I'm with you. I'm a second setting guy on the windshield wiper. No first setting. I'd rather it just be water on the windshield.
Please
keep driving.
Hopefully they have a good day today for weather. It looks like tonight's fine.
I wouldn't mind this game getting rained out. I'm sure the Phillies wouldn't mind either.
We don't want it because you don't want anything to.
Yeah, dude. I don't want. By the way, I was meaning to ask you guys this. Does Wheeler make another start?
Yes.
Well, maybe
because he's off next week.
Maybe.
Yes, because he's off next week.
If he's off,
yes,
that's a good point.
Absolutely, because he'd pitch next Saturday. So he would pitch Saturday, October the 5th.
Let's say they lock up one of the top 2 seats Friday.
He pitches Saturday.
Would you still pitch him Saturday?
3 or 4 innings? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
Because
he doesn't go more than 4.
Because then he'd have a whole week off.
What if they don't?
Zach Wheeler does not like.
What if they don't?
Time off. Oh, no, he's got to pitch. No, if they haven't locked up the number 1 seed, Wheeler's pitching his ass off Saturday night.
But if they have and they don't, I think we have to live with that decision. For as much as Zach Wheeler has contended the way that they've handled him, giving him extra rest, when they shut him down going into 2022, it was clearly the right decision. I believe that this team has done an exceptional job of handling players' injuries at the major league level. So you want about the Andrew Painter thing, that's a blip on the radar to me. And any decision that they make surrounding rest or starting guys has seemed to play out best for October. So I'm going to just trust that they know what they're doing.
Okay, that's a fair point. All right, we'll get back to the texts and the calls in a second. But I want to have this conversation about Sunday and how this could very well
become... The day after Fan Fest? Like how hungover you're going to be?
Nah, I got the wedding. I'll be hungover.
Oh, you the wedding? I'll
be hungover because of that.
You have Fan Fest, then you have a wedding.
Yeah, that's...
And you're going to stink at this wedding.
Marathon day, man. A.J. Brown, let's start there.
All right.
Jeff McClain, we had him on earlier today, and I asked him about the status of A.J. Brown. And he believes, based off of his reporting, and he said he's going to do some more digging on it, but based off of his initial reporting, he believes that A.J. Brown might give it a go.
Try to give it a go.
So, try to give it a go. I'm more with you.
Oh, I don't want him touching the field.
Because I don't want to risk further injury. But if he doesn't play and Devontae's out with a concussion, you might lose a football game. And we know how important every week matters.
Especially a second NFC loss, a second loss, and a loss to a team you could lose a tiebreaker game to. Where
This
you'd
is
have
a tough
two teams.
spot. This is a tough spot because hamstrings are tricky things, man.
He is not touching that field. He is in my mind. He does not touch. He does not give it a go. He's ready to come home for the opener against the Browns after the bye week. There's no way I'm letting him play. I don't want him to play.
I'm more with you on that camp. I'm just thinking, this is quickly becoming another important game because you don't want to fall to 2-2. You don't want to have 2 NFC losses. You don't want to give the Buccaneers another NFC win, by the way. And you and I kind of touched on it more on the break. You lost in Tampa in the playoffs last year. It might be better if you were playing in Philadelphia. And I know not many people are scared of the Buccaneers, but it's a playoff team. And if you don't have Devontae Smith because of the concussion, and we won't really find that out till probably game day.
No, we'll find out probably.
Do they announce it Friday? I don't know how the concussion protocol works.
I have a feeling we may know. We're going to know because I would guess this. And by the way, this is complete supposition. That if there is a problem, if Devontae Smith is not doing well with the concussion, they may very well leave him home.
Right. It's a good point.
They may not put him on a plane. Lane Johnson may not get on a plane.
Plus, with the looming bye week, they go, hey, let's give him an extra week.
But can you?
But you're not also think about this for a second. Think about your offense. If A.J. Brown doesn't play. So your offensive line, left side is Mailata, Dickerson, and then Juergens at center.
Right.
I don't know what the status of Mekhi Becton will be. It's a hand injury.
Again, with a bye week coming up, what do you do?
I think he's okay because they tried to tape it. I'd imagine they'll just give him one of those club things, right?
That was my first thought.
I didn't know you had the club. I had a club.
What?
The club. Used to be this thing we used to have to put on our steering wheels to keep them from being stolen.
I know what you're
in
talking
Philadelphia. When I lived in Philly, we put the club on our cars.
No, I don't have. Dude, no one wants my car.
So you could be out your right guard, right tackle, top 2 wide receivers.
I don't know a game that the Eagles would have ever gone into where you'd be like, wow, what are they going to do?
And that's the question. Like, if A.J. Brown can go.
I say no.
I'm
not even
with you.
I'm not even entertaining the possibility. And if
I would
entertain
it.
If it means that we take a loss in Tampa because I am going to chicken out and say, I'm not risking A.J. Brown's health to the line. I think the Eagles could overcome a 2-2 start.
Okay.
They can overcome it. Win the division and do well.
And they would know going into it that this is a tough spot. So if they lost, this wouldn't be like is the locker room in trouble
I am
show.
I am not risking it at all.
Connor?
And that's wimpy.
No, I don't think it is. Like, my thought process, what I'm comparing this to, because we had a conversation multiple times this year with Phillies players. Like, if they're healthy, how do you tell them not to play? Football's different, man. Football's different with the contact level, and A.J. Brown's so important to this damn team. And the other thing, too, if Devontae's out and Lane is out and Mekhi Becton is out, you're already so behind the 8 ball in this game. Not that you just throw in the towel, but that...
Well, Doc Rivers would have a word for it.
Scheduled loss. Man. 2 words. But
scheduled loss in the NBA, there's no such thing as a scheduled loss in the NFL.
Well, there is scheduled, but injuries.
I am perfectly fine. And I think it sounds a little wimpy. I'm perfectly fine with punting on a game in Tampa.
Be really great if they were 3-0 and they had ran the ball at the end of that.
Yeah, if they had only done that. But of course, Nick Sirianni
would be nice.
Smarter than the room.
So if Devontae and A.J. Brown are out, we already know that Britton Covey's going to be out for an extended period of time. Your number 1 wide receiver is who? Jahan Dotson?
Yep.
So a guy that you acquired with a week left in camp.
Well, wait, by the way, the learning curve on this is nuts now. This is nuts.
I got you.
It's more than a month. He's been here.
Right, he should probably be, but he's now he's going from wide receiver. He's going from wide receiver 3 routes to now wide receiver 1 routes.
I don't care. That you should be able to contribute in a good way. And by the way, he found his way open multiple times on Sunday.
Didn't look
and Jalen Hurts looked at him. He looks him off to go throw to Devontae. Looks him off to go. Now, one of them was to Dallas Goedert, which was a great play design.
Yes.
But he's getting open. So Dotson's getting open. And it's the only things like that I can decipher when I really watch the all 22s. I'm like, wow, I can understand that.
Right.
They schemed. And there is a lot that you see where Kellen Moore is getting 2 guys open on every play almost.
Yeah, which he might need to do that this weekend. Dotson, Johnny Wilson,
Paris Campbell.
Campbell. There it is.
And then you have obviously Dallas Goedert and Grant Calcaterra. Now, you and I were talking about this off air earlier.
Multiple tight end sets. Doug Peterson would be thrilled.
You're going to have Jack Stahl is going to have to be.
Well, he was active Sunday, but he didn't play much.
He's going to have to be elevated. And then you got a couple of wide receivers on the depth on the practice squad. Marcus Roseme, Jack Saint.
What?
Kyle Phillips.
Oh, Kyle Phillips is a good player.
Phillips is a dude.
Danny Gray.
Wait a minute, they have Kyle Phillips?
What are we even worried about?
We're fine.
Danny Gray.
AJ,
Kyle
take
Phillips
another.
is waking up and he's like, how the hell did I just get a ricochet shot on
AJ,
Kincade Salciunas?
take more time.
Let me ask you guys about this. Is it too much? I hate the kind of like hokey, like move this guy around to make up for it. Would you guys run Saquon Barkley in the slot a couple times in this game?
Look, and if you don't do that, Will Shipley's a guy that can catch the football. You might have to utilize him somehow in the playbook.
So you're putting 2 back sets in?
Well, maybe not 2 back sets, but like Saquon's lined up in the slot.
Okay,
and then
so Shipley would
in the
be
backfield.
Okay,
Or
I have no
Saquon's in the backfield and Shipley's. And by the way, Kenneth Gainwell can catch the football pretty well.
And I have no problem with Shipley toss him a little bit more.
We don't
let him do what he can do.
But I feel like to an NFL coach, what we just talked about sounds like a Madden conversation.
Probably.
Like, I think they'd much rather call up an actual wide receiver from the practice squad than move Saquon Barkley out there.
I'd rather honestly see them run the ball more. And I know that many in our fan base.
Oh, people, you're speaking gospel to a lot.
Well, I
of
mean,
people.
seriously, I'm absolutely being their best friend.
Let's see. Are you interested? Let's see what we do have. Wide receivers. Hunter Renfro's available.
Oh, hell yeah!
Whoa! Now, Hunter Renfro? Yeah, Paris Campbell, Hunter Renfro.
How is he available?
I'll consider it. I'm shocked
because he got paid $1 billion.
No, but is he dinged up? Is he coming off something or what?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I expect you to know these things.
He's a free agent.
You're my partner. I expect you to know these things.
How about Michael Thomas? How about Randall Cobb? I'm surprised on the Jets. That's Aaron's boy. Where's he at? Oh, dude, how about a return? Although, didn't he retire? I don't know what this guy's deal is. Remember Marquise Goodwin?
Yes.
Remember the Eagles brought him in? Did he never play?
He did not.
What happened to that?
I think he got injured immediately.
And he just never played. I forget the story of Marquise Goodwin.
I think he got immediately hurt.
No to Chase Claypool. He stinks.
Okay, I get you. That these guys, there are some guys who do. They sort of stink. But are they not better than some of the names you're trotting out there as being what's available to the Eagles?
Maybe. I do got one for you.
Okay.
How about a 4th stint for Jordan Matthews?
Oh, no.
What is he, 40?
Wait a minute. Jordan Matthews was a tight end.
That's
Carolina.
Right, tight end. He's still listed as a wide receiver on Spot Track.
By the way, he's available?
According to Spot Track, he's available.
He got cut?
Let's go get Travis Fulgham.
Or he could be on the practice squad, and you can pilfer guys off the practice squad.
Okay, I would not. That's the really intriguing one. I would not.
I can't do Jordan
I'm serious.
Matthews.
Against some of the guys that you're talking about.
I'm going Paris Campbell, who knows the offense before Jordan Matthews.
I don't think they bring someone in.
Jordan Matthews might know the city of Philadelphia, but I don't think he knows the offense.
Does he know the offense?
Oh, by the way, Spot Track's wrong here. He's been active both games for the Carolina Panthers.
That's what I'm saying.
And look, they won last week, so clearly they're red hot.
And they have him as a tight end.
Yeah.
And he's good, and he's been blocking well.
He has been blocked.
So they're happy with that.
All right. Speaking of Johnny Wilson, who will be one of your wide receivers, I sent you guys a text yesterday.
Yeeks.
7 times he used the word tough in an answer about Johnny Wilson. All that was asked was, what have you seen out of Johnny Wilson so far? And he gave like a 6-minute answer. I think it's cut down a little bit, but here's Nick Sirianni talking about Johnny Wilson.
He's able to do some different things that we need, some dirty work things that we need, and then he'll be called upon, if we need to make some plays catching the football. And so, yeah, I loved his first catch yesterday of putting his head down and he's a big dude, and then trying to tackle him was hard for those guys, and he was able to get some yards after catch and get the first down on that. So I think I've seen toughness. He's continuing to learn everything there is to learn about playing wide receiver in the NFL.
There's only one toughness in that clip, but there was 6 others in his entire long answer. I will say this, though. I am intrigued by Johnny Wilson, and he's going to have a chance to play this week.
I am, but I'm not. Johnny Wilson as a piece. Johnny Wilson is a situational piece.
He had a big play. He had a big play last week.
I absolutely believe in him. I loved it when they got him. I just don't know if he's ready to be prepared for a week by opposing defensive coordinators, whether he's ready to deliver.
Right, and look, it's going to be.
And by the way, I'm not slamming him if he is. It's a lot to ask.
Right.
It's a lot to ask.
Of course it is.
But, how good is this team if we look at them for what they are right now and don't think about what they're missing? At least from the skill position perspective. You still have a really good quarterback in Jalen Hurts. You still have an elite running back in Saquon Barkley. Jahan Dotson was a player in Washington.
Yeah. And he was his rookie year, and then he was hurt last year.
And then Dallas Goedert just is coming off a 170-yard game. Continue that.
They had a young quarterback, a really talented quarterback in Jaden Daniels. They said, "No, we're good. We're good. He doesn't need Jahan Dotson."
That doesn't mean he's not a player.
I didn't say he is.
No, but
I said he was.
but what does it mean to you? Why would they get rid of him?
We literally talked to somebody. They said it was he didn't the role wasn't there for him or something.
He wasn't. We talked to Bram Weinstein.
Yeah.
And Bram Weinstein's like, he's like, it just did. They weren't meshing. You're talking about a guy. You're bringing in a young quarterback who has incredible skill set. And they're like, nah, we're good.
All right.
Take
he's
away
the
one of his
third
weapons.
wide receiver on this team, and he needs to be number one this weekend.
Be number one.
Yeah,
we'll see.
This weekend, he needs to be number one.
Well, I heard last week that he was still trying to get him involved, try to get him to understand what's going on.
Well, that's not his fault when he's open and he's not. Football's not going his way. That's on the quarterback.
Hey, we've seen it.
All right, let's give away two more 4-packs of Temple tickets. Callers 1 and 2 receive a family 4-pack of Temple football tickets for this Thursday. 215-263-0975. We'll give away 2 4-packs. Caller 1 and caller 2. 215-263-0975. Don't miss a primetime college football showdown when Temple battles Army. Thursday night at 7:30 at Lincoln Financial Field. For tickets, visit alstix.com. What do we got on the text line?
Give them to him.
He will.
Fine Temple man who roots for Villanova.
We have a check-in from Taylor in Mount Holly who says, I think Nick needs to go. Talking about Nick Sirianni, of course. He's too much of a distraction. His constant babbling is creating a storyline that doesn't need to exist with this season. He's making the Eagles' lives more difficult when a head coach should make it easier.
I love that. Who is that?
Taylor from Mount Holly.
God, Taylor. Love you. That makes total sense.
Is there a legitimate conversation? Like, we do legitimate conversations on this show.
Right.
All right. So
Should the Eagles trade for J.J. Watt before he retires?
Yeah. We do legitimate discussions on this show. Real topics, right? Real opinions, not contrived.
We got a lot to say.
Is there, I don't think there is there a legitimate conversation in moving on from Sirianni at some point during the season?
Now, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
During the season?
No.
If they're winning.
Oh, not if they're winning. No.
But let's say it's what we've seen through 3 weeks, right?
No.
Where he has made boneheaded decisions that cost them a game and almost lost them another.
No, he'll be threatened. The way he came out and spoke at that press conference yesterday, I guarantee you, capital G, Connor won't like it. I guarantee you that the PR department and a member of senior management said, hey, Nick, when someone asks you about what you do with your things, don't tell them about your own chart. Don't tell them that you, stop talking. So that's yesterday why he got all snippy with Jeff McClain. I think he got slapped on the wrist. So absolutely not. He'll just be scolded and told what not to do and what not.
I don't think there's a legitimate conversation, but I do wonder, if you're Howie Roseman, are you already thinking about
Bill Belichick?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you got Gaston and LeFou.
Yeah.
You got them stalking the job.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if Howie's already thinking it. If Lori's already thinking it. If this continues to go this way and we fall short of our goals, he's gone.
And everybody wants Bill Belichick. Oh, yeah, Bill Belichick. He's available. Why wouldn't you just do it? Because you're going to get LeFou. You want your defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia? You want Joe Judge? High School Harry?
No.
You want him to bring in his you want to bring in his son? Where he's going to say, my son's going to be my successor. So I'm going to come here, and part of the deal is my son will be my successor. You want all that? You sign up for it.
Well,
I want no part of it.
Sure, Content Johnny doesn't want any part of it?
No. No, honestly, Content Johnny is an absolute whore. He loves that stuff. But Eagles fan Johnny trumps that.
John,
right, John.
I'm not convinced right now the head coach of this football team can count to 3. So I would take Bill Belichick.
Oh, I'm not taking all the
He can count. He can count to
him.
3 because he's got 5 core values.
That's a fair point.
So he can at least count to 5.
His coaching tree is the burning bush.
I want the tree. All right, I want the tree itself.
Coming up next, we get more texts, more calls. Also, I have a question about a run-first offense. We'll discuss more coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. We got one more 4-pack of Temple tickets to give away at some point before we get out of here. By the way, don't
We're
forget.
going to have our own section.
Yeah, we will. Check out the Fanatic Deal of the Week. Get 2 adult combo tickets to the Bates Motel for the price of 1. Perfect. Right around Halloween. 2 tickets for just $52. Prepare for Halloween thrills at the Bates Motel, one of the most frightening haunted attractions in the country, located in Glen Mills, PA. Get this exclusive offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deal.
It is legit.
Yeah, you've been talking about how
it's legit. It's awesome.
Frightening.
I would go again, but I can't find anybody who wants to go. My family's all a bunch of wimps.
I'll be a wimp. I don't need to go.
Oh, soft. I love
right.
haunted house.
And you two go.
Connor.
He just said he's looking for somebody.
This is so much more than a haunted house.
They can't touch you, right?
They come close, and it's fun.
Aren't there some places that allow it? Or no?
Yeah, but you got to sign a waiver or something, right?
Yeah.
The hayride will make you pee your pants. I'm going to tell you that much.
All right, so I was going to ask you guys a question. Should the Eagles, and now you have numbers to back it up for this weekend.
Yeah, we'll get into all that.
I love that the Eagles' offense has been pretty balanced in terms of run and pass, right? Should the offense go through Saquon Barkley a little bit more?
It's going to have to.
I'm not even saying just this weekend. Like, there's going to be games where you're going to have to throw the football a bunch of times. We know that, right? That's football. But in terms of, again, we did our second opinion earlier, and this is why I'm bringing this up now. Part of the issues with Jalen Hurts and his turnovers, if you watch closely, it's a constant. It's when he's trying to make a play downfield, or maybe he has to do a little bit too much. When the offense is a little easier, free-flowing, and you're utilizing the run, he doesn't throw as many turnovers.
Okay, do you think that the turnovers have been a product of the offense being too complex or something? Because I don't. Like, I don't look at that at all.
No, I just think sometimes he does have an issue with reading where the safety's going.
Well, he certainly does. And he's had it since college.
Right.
He's had it since college.
But how do you take
something that's
how do you take that away? You don't let him throw downfield? I'm with John on this one. I don't think it's a complexity thing. I think it's a decision-making thing that you can't stop by changing the offense.
No, I know. I'm not saying complete overhaul the offense, but instead of, always having a spread offense and doing shots downfield, create space underneath. And look, to Kellen Moore's credit, that's something that he has done in his career. And we haven't really got a chance to see it. We saw one game of A.J. Brown.
And look at what he did in the one game.
Right, exactly. He scores a touchdown on the big play.
Sort of ran rough shots.
Right. So, but if he can get guys open underneath, instead of trying to get a 20-plus yard play, 20 yards in the air, why not 10 yards in the air? But you're creating a play where hopefully the wide receiver is open with room to run after.
Well, with these wide receivers, don't you think they're going to pack it in? They're not going to trust that the Eagles game plan is going to be aggressive downfield passing.
Oh, well, this week, yeah. I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about going forward.
Big picture.
Well, guess what? When he has his full
allotment of
arsenal,
players, yeah,
you got to run the offense that you think they should run, and hope that he figures this out.
Okay.
I think that's who you got.
Yeah, you can't make concessions for the quarterback. He's talented enough to do it. He's got to do it himself. Kellen Moore needs to make no concessions to Jalen Hurts on keeping him away from turning the ball over.
And if he's supposed to be what people claim he is, and I mean, God forbid you critique him, like any other Eagles quarterback, the Eagles quarterbacks have been critiqued in this town ad nauseum forever. Every one of them. Right. Donovan McNabb, the worst. Like, to me. Well, in my childhood, I know that I should actually apologize to Ron Jaworski for the things that my dad would say watching on TV and my uncles would say.
Yeah.
Because Jaws was getting his backside beaten, and they'd still blame it on Jaws. Yeah, it was somehow it was
right.
his
It was
fault.
Ron's fault.
But it was like to me. But the quarterback in this town has always been the most criticized player. But God forbid, Jalen's got to have there are some guardrails up on him by fans.
We had callers yesterday saying
I don't understand it.
The turnovers aren't on him.
I really don't, which is absurd. It's
and
absurd.
if you want to say once or twice, like a wide receiver falls on his route, yeah, that's going to happen, right? And if somebody didn't watch the game, they would look at the box score and see an interception or 2 interceptions. This is a 7-week stretch now. 7 weeks. He's got 7 straight weeks with the
He's the
interception.
No, he's the worst over the last 20 games. So all last season and this season, he's the worst quarterback in the NFL turning the ball over. Stop with the got to protect Jalen. Don't critique Jalen that much. Look, you can praise Jalen for what he's good at, and you can call it out for what he's bad at.
Absolutely.
And by the way, he does a lot of really good things. But the turnovers is a ridiculous number.
And so that's why I was
wondering. When
wondering,
you're the worst at it?
Is there a way to try to scheme that out of the offense? I don't know. Like, again, the turnovers seem to be shots downfield or the trust route with Devontae Smith. You have Saquon Barkley. You have Dallas Scott. Like, you have other options. Like, you don't have to make some trust throws sometimes.
Okay, well, you know what boring offenses win in today's NFL? Nothing. So if you're going to dumb down the offense some way, or you're going to try and scheme out those opportunities for Jalen Hurts to make turnovers, you're neutering an offense that should be elite. And I'm not going to do that. The quarterback either has to step into the role, or this team is not going to be good enough. Those are the only 2 options.
Okay.
I mean, if Jalen's going to... If we have dreams of where this team ends up, if we have dreams of this team playing late into January or potentially February, we can't even be thinking about dumbing this thing down with all the toys, with the offensive line, an
offensive line that could push, and you have a great running back.
But it's embarrassing. Yeah, but it's embarrassing that it would be because with any other quarterback who's like a top 10 quarterback, you'd be saying about use the.
I know, and I'm not saying Hurts throw the ball 15 times. You know,
Right.
I still want him dropping back 25, 30 times.
I got you.
But it's just maybe the way that you're doing it is a little bit different. Getting the ball out quick, which is something he does very well at.
Sure, but he's capable. His completion percentage has been over 75% the last 2 games. Like, he's completing passes. It's just those turnovers, and that's on it. It's just a decision-making. And I think we all think he's capable of doing that. Like, to some extent.
He's got to prove it.
I saw it 2 years ago. I saw it 2 years ago.
He does
You're
have
right.
to prove it. But I'm like, this argument is not Jalen Hurts stinks. So
Right, exactly.
No, he doesn't stink.
He's capable. He's talented. He can do it. I'm going to ask him to be the quarterback I believe he's capable of being, and I'm not going to ask Kellen Moore to change things for him.
Okay, fair enough. All right,
That's
what do we got in the text line there, Connor?
We have check-ins on the Nick Sirianni conversation as to the play calling, but this one is a little bit about Jalen Hurts, which we were just on, so I want to go to that. Ryan in Florida says there's a misconception that Jalen is some improv quarterback that's better when he extends plays, but reality is the longer the play goes on, the worse he is and the more he makes mistakes. Kellen needs to focus on getting guys open quick to help Jalen get in a groove.
I texted that one in.
Was that you?
That was
Ryan in Florida?
Sounds
That's your
like it.
pseudonym?
That was me. I mean, that's literally what I was saying. How about that? Me and Ryan seeing eye to eye there. That's basically what I said.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know, that when the play extends or when they're trying to take deep shots, that's when they start getting into trouble a little bit. You know, he makes the Dallas Goedert throw, and this is something where Jalen Hurts hasn't gotten enough credit, right? We didn't talk about this enough because I was kind of doom and gloom yesterday, and I apologize. Well, I don't apologize, but you know what I mean.
Well, you were sniffles.
The great check into that play.
He saw it.
Yep.
So that's good awareness on his part.
And then the throw, if he throws it behind Dallas Goedert, who knows if Dallas Goedert scampers for 60 yards?
No, he would have probably would have caught it, but wouldn't have been able to get him with the momentum.
Right.
And then it's a longer drive.
He
to try
put
to
the ball
score
in a perfect spot. That Britton Covey play got it to him quickly and allowed Britton Covey to make the play with his legs. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not saying, go back to last year's offense where it's just bubble screens. Right? I just want I don't think we need to take deep shots a lot of the time because sometimes these shots are when he gets into trouble.
Yeah, maybe I'm an idiot because, like, part of the way that I watch football, we had this argument with the Saquon Barkley thing. It probably wasn't the most prudent thing to pay a running back that much money considering where the NFL was. But my argument for why I liked it was, yeah, it's kind of sick, though. Like, you're right. Can you probably have a little bit more conservative of an offense to force Jalen Hurts into being smarter? Sure.
You have the receivers to be able to do it.
But
it's not like you have.
No, you have everything you need.
You don't have John Ross, who's like, all right, John, just go deep, right? AJ Brown's a phenomenal route runner. Devontae Smith is an even better route runner. Dallas Goedert can get into space if he seems interested.
But dude, this offense is awesome. And I want them to do cool things. And I want them to score a lot of points. And I don't want them to find a way to dink and dunk their way to victory.
Yeah,
Maybe that's dumb of me.
No, that's after. No, it's not. It's that's what you should be. To those who are given many blessings, a lot is expected.
Yes.
Why would we even consider putting less expectations and less idea on
I know. I need the turnovers to stop. I mean,
no, you do. But that's not the answer to it.
Cut it down. Cut it down
would
one,
be nice.
Half.
Well, you can't have one a game either.
Well, I thought you can't. All right, coming up next, we check out the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, the 3 best minutes of today's show, presented by Von C. Brewing. We'll probably sneak in another text or two right here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson.
Before we get to the key three, we got one more 4-pack of Temple tickets on this Temple Tuesday. Caller number 1 of the contest line, 215-263-0975, will win our final 4-pack of tickets to Thursday night's game against Army. Don't miss a primetime college football showdown when Temple battles Army this Thursday at 7:30 at Lincoln Financial Field. For tickets, visit owlstix.com. By the way, something that we didn't mention at all today.
What's that?
San Francisco is beat up, dude.
It's bad.
Javon Hargrave officially done. Adam Schefter just reported that. There's the Christian McCaffrey story that he's seeing a specialist in Germany.
Which means he isn't close.
No,
and remember,
he's not.
and as I told you all.
No, he's across the ocean.
If I told you all that Kyle Shanahan was a freaking guy you
Liar.
cannot trust.
Yeah.
And I've been once again proven right on Kyle Shanahan. He is who I thought he was. Like, I mean, this is bad. This is bad for them.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy who's having to go to Germany to decide it. And Shanahan was trying to tell you 2 hours before the first game. He might play.
Yeah.
It's a jackass.
Trent Williams got banged up last week. Brock Purdy is questionable. I'm sure he's going to play, but he got banged up.
Oh, he did get banged up.
We know Deebo Samuel's hurt. Like, all of a sudden, the San Francisco 49ers are beat up.
But are they in a vulnerable spot right now? And I'm trying to look here. So San Francisco coming up here. They're in last place in their division, by the way.
Yeah.
They're versus the Patriots this week. And then they're versus the Cardinals at home.
Cardinals are a tough.
Cardinals look good,
a tough team, man. I took them for their over and wins.
They have a
this
streak
year,
coming up though, where they get the Chiefs and the Cowboys before the bye week. Yeah, things could get difficult. What you're hoping to do is just put them in the rearview mirror that you absolutely can stay ahead of them in the conference, so they would have to come to you.
Right. Absolutely.
Even though they came in here and took our lunch last year.
But hopefully a different mentality from the Eagles this year if they play
and they're
them.
banged up.
Yeah, oh my God, they are. All right, it's time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 presented by Von C.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
It's not just going to be an Eagle day today on Kincade Salciunas. The Fightin' Phils clinch and win the NL East last night. We will celebrate that. Maybe not as hard as they did, but we're going to have some fun with it all day today. But I want to know from you guys, what is something that we've learned so far through 3 weeks with the Philadelphia Eagles?
I know one thing, and I'll write it in my Sharpie.
Okay.
We have 2 grown men, intelligent men in charge of each side of the football. The Eagles are the second team in the NFL through 3 weeks in yards per game by the offense. The offense is moving the ball incredibly well. It's misfiring due to its quarterback turning over the ball and its head coach making stupid decisions to not cash in for points. But overall, the Eagles offense second at best at moving the ball right now offensively, which is damn good. What do I know? I know that I'm a Fangio.
Yeah.
I hope everybody else is becoming a Fangio too. And that Kellen Moore, the offense is moving. Can they overcome their quarterback and their head coach?
This team, every single night, there was a little bit of a different storyline because that's what baseball does for you. You have 9 guys on the field. Unless a pitcher's throwing a complete game shutout, for the most part, 13 guys are involved in a baseball game on a given night. And you had a lot of guys contribute in many different ways. Sometimes magical, sometimes just elite. Sometimes they just found a way to make something happen. And that's why you won 93 games in the division last night. I just wish people did enjoy it more.
Let's mention, because it has to be said, and we did not mention it enough, that is 3 of 4 outings for Nola, where he has been fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's important to note, because where you just get used to the glitter of consistency with Zach Wheeler, we hope that that's where Aaron Nola's rolling into. I do believe right now the Sanchez thing for Game 2 starter is real.
Interesting. Get him at home.
The righty-lefty
and you want to maybe pitch him at home.
Get Sanchez at home. Let Nola, the veteran, the dog, the pitch on the road.
What have you learned through 3 weeks so far of this Eagles season? Through 3 weeks this season, Saquon Barkley was worth every penny.
That's a great one.
And I was thrilled when they signed him. And my immediate reaction was, man, I normally wouldn't do this, but my God, would it just be fun to see. Like, football GM Andrew wouldn't have done it, but football Eagles fan was like, oh my God, how do you stop this offense? But I've learned that guy's worth every penny. You touched on it yesterday, John. It's not just when he gets the football. It's what he does in the backfield blocking. It's what he does when his number isn't even called. If you're a defender, you have to be worried about Saquon Barkley. Are they going to hand the football off? That's why having Kellen Moore and a creative offense goes a long way with this team, because you can run play action. You can run pre-snap motion. That play where Jalen Hurts checked into the Dallas Goedert 65-yard, that was just simple Saquon Barkley was lined out outside. He came back behind the backfield. The defense, all right, what are they going to do here? What are they going to do here? Because there's a 3rd and 16. Are they going to run a screen pass? Just that simple pre-snap motion makes the other team think. And so Saquon Barkley now all of a sudden makes defenses have to scheme not just one way. They have to be worried about the run. They have to be worried about the pass. They have to be worried about everything that he can do out of the backfield. He's been worth every single penny. And, man, he's won them 2 games. From the Philadelphia Inquirer, Inquirer.com, Jeff McClain joins us. Jeff, good morning. How you doing?
I think A.J. Brown's probably going to try and give it at least a go in practice this week. Just a little more reporting on that. But, he's got obstacles to clear before he can play on Sunday. But I think at least there's a chance. Last week, there was no chance.
I hope you enjoyed it last night, Phillies fans, as much as they all did. It was a celebration of joy last night down at Citizens Bank and in the clubhouse after.
Yeah, and look, that's an impressive feat. I know that the Braves dealt with injuries all season long, but 162 games. By the way, the Phillies dealt with injuries all season long, too, just not season-ending.
It was an interesting year, and you're sitting with 93 wins. And 93 wins, and you just look at it. It's more than their world championship team in 2008.
Yeah.
And I am somebody who is anti-spraying the champagne every series that you win. But over 162,
celebrate
you
that,
win
man.
a division.
It's a long season.
You should celebrate that, blow off steam. It is a pressure-packed, long grind.
All right, that's the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 presented by Von C. Brewing. The Key 3. Check them out, Norristown. Don't miss their Oktoberfest celebration, September 27th through the 29th. So that's this weekend. You can try their Oktoberfest Key 3, the Berliner Weiss, a historic German sour beer, the Festbier, a modern take on the Oktoberfest style, and the Von C. Toberfest Marzen, which is a love letter to the Munich malt. Visit VonCBrewing.com. Find out where you can pick up your Key 3 from Von C today. And you told us that Ryan Shuttleworth, who on the air sometimes at MMR,
Good
our sister
Temple guy.
station, engineer around here, and a great Temple guy. He's at Oktoberfest.
Yes, and he's got the full outfit. He's got the full outfit on, too.
Oh, you have to. You don't wear the lederhosen, you're going to get kicked out of there, man.
Yeah, you got to go full on
Connor,
if you're out there.
Just a warning. Your social media may be a topic on midday today.
Oh, let's go. What did I do?
I don't know. Some video that was posted last night.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Bill and Mike have their heads together.
Sounds good.
Collaborating on something.
Okay.
So
I like to celebrate.
Hey, when they're talking about you, it's a win.
No publicity is bad publicity, John.
Exactly.
Thomas.
It's one of the dumbest statements I've ever heard.
Hey, support life-saving cancer research. Join us and our generous partner, Pierce Phelps Bryan Heating and Air Conditioning Contractors, and make a donation today to the AACR at 975thefanatic.com/AACR. Cancer research saves lives.
All right, we'll be back at it tomorrow on an Adam Schefter Wednesday, another day closer to the Eagles taking on the Buccaneers. And Kellen Moore speaks to the media today, I think around noon, a little bit before noon, so you'll probably be able to hear that with the Mike Missanelli
Can we
show.
pay Mike and Bill when their show, they don't have to do content? I'm just wondering. They get to put their feet up,
dude, come on, man.
have a little lunch.
I did that shit for 7 years. I love.
Boy, they got it good.
I love that the press conference.
They
Press
got it
conferences
good.
during football season, man. Come on. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We'll be back at it